Welcome to the Death Needs Dialogue Entertainment Network. You have tuned in for The Depths of Filthan, Episode 1, Bridge Over Resilient Rivers. This week, Erelon shows us how a pacifist picks a fight.
Ooh, they're making fun of you, Tanner. Dishonoring the name of Oros.
Oh, that's not good.
And we have an instigator.
Ravam gets a strange feeling leaving the festival.
Feeling in the back of your neck, Ravam.
Something's not quite right.
And Tanith supports the local economy.
I can give you a discount for the services you provide to this world.
I'll just buy some of your damn herbs.
And now, without further delay, a bridge over resilient rivers.
Okay.
Oh, I made sure, since the average chasm is 60 feet deep, I made sure to have 2 coils of rope.
Okay. Alright.
Don't know if that'll be useful or if I might just sell some, but we'll find out.
No, that's fine. It's always good to have extra rope.
Mm.
Always good.
I generally also have 2 coils of rope just because one for grappling hook and one for miscellaneous use.
You never know when you're going to need a rope.
Something about binding your enemies.
That's what the barrels are for.
Yeah, I picked up a set of shackles when I was at the store.
Okay, gentlemen, so at last we had Ravam and Erlon. Erlon? How do you want to pronounce it? Erlon or Erlon? Keep it long.
Erelon.
Erlon?
Why do you always take the weird names?
I don't know, because I'm stupid, I guess. Like to give the DM a hard time with the names.
So he should be called Bruce from now on.
Okay, Dave.
When it
Okay,
does,
sounds
yeah.
good. No, I'm just going to put it differently on your on the thing, so I'm going to put an I
Dave,
in the
I
middle,
don't know.
so I know that there's an I sound in there.
Okay.
But I also have it the correct way spelled. And I need to get your last name spelled there.
Okay, it is gold petal, like gold.
Oh, I thought you had it in a different language.
Oh, well, yeah, it is in Elvish, but...
Yeah, I need it in the Elvish.
Oh, in the Elvish, Xiloscient.
Goddamn. And
It's called
pronounce it.
cunt, right?
Xiloscient.
That sounds like it's spelled cunt.
Xiloscient. But
I will do my best. It also means gold leaf.
gold petal.
Gold petal, that's right. Gold
Yep.
petal.
You can just say gold petal, but doesn't matter.
Oh,
Xylophone.
it depends who's talking to you.
Let's not offend Zyhos over there.
Xenophobe.
Here's my full family tree,
Oh, fantastic.
and the reason for the name is at the top underneath the 2 names for the actual surname of the family.
Okay.
That's why they're named as such.
Is this my copy?
You can take a picture of it.
Yeah, I have to take a picture.
because I just made it.
My phone's right there. Yeah, just open up. Let's pick this. Perfect. Okay. That's a lot of A names. That's alright.
Alphabetical bullshit, what?
I tried to switch it up a bit here, but a few A's slipped through.
That's alright. Is go with what makes you feel creative, and and that helps the flow. That's perfectly fine. We are going to start as the sun begins to come up over the.
Gathering.
I was going to say the horizon. There's not very many. There's low hills, but there's nothing that would block any sunlight that would come about. So the sun comes up over the horizon and casts long shadows through the tents, and shortly after that, what time would you guys be up and about? Think about how much you would have partook in the alcoholism. I know Erlon, good, I'm going to say that right, that's good. Erlon doesn't partake in that sort of thing, so what time would you be up? Would you be up early?
Yeah, Erlon would be up early because he's been on a farm for about a decade. So
Before sunlight or with the sunlight?
just before.
Okay, sounds good. So you would see a few particular women in the Vistani tribe be walking around with brooms and actually hitting people on the shoulder, not roughly, just brusquely enough to wake them up, and they're telling them to get up, do something, Eventually it doesn't take long and the crowd of people is in full swing again. Not in party mode, but there is still drinking, there is still eating, they're having breakfast, they're setting up more tents now, and it seems to be that they're setting up some sort of walking path in between the main tent where you guys were and farther in towards the brush, and it seems to be setting up the stalls. You guys can see strange looking animals that seem to be of a stuffed nature, fuzzy and furry and different high bright colors, and different things like umbrellas and strange objects. And you can see that there's other people setting up crates and boxes and round balls on top of tables in front and other such things. But then by now you would be up, either woken up by yourself or woken up by one of the ladies, and you would see this also. You would also get your roll perception, actually. Well, both these now, they usually both up there, yeah. Just general perception for
12.
12?
17.
17. Okay, you would notice that there's definitely more people here than last time. And when you woke up this morning, you would notice that you've seen 2 wagons roll in full of similar dressed people, and they seem to join the crowd.
Okay. Erlon's just sitting in by his cart, trying to fix his hurdy-gurdy as best he can.
Okay.
And he's still trying, even though he failed last night. He's just trying to see if there's anything that he can do in the meantime, just to at least get it functional, because his grandfather's going to kill him.
Okay. Alright, so you have it
Only if
pulled
he
out.
finds out.
Yeah.
Do you have it taken apart or anything?
Yeah, he's got it taken apart. At least just the compartment on the back opened up so he can see the inner workings. And
Okay.
he's kind of in there with some sort of implement just to see if he can kind of thumb around.
Alright, so has Erlon enjoyed the evening, enjoyed the night?
He enjoyed the company. He was a little bit weary at first, but he enjoyed it.
Okay, so I'll get you to roll your investigation with advantage. As you kind of wake up the next morning and feel rejuvenated by being involved in this realm of family, this microcosm of being welcomed into a family.
So 19.
19, okay. You would see that there's quite a few gears that seem to be broken and chipped and bent in some places. And you're going to need some replacement gears or someone to fix the gears you have in there already.
Okay. And nobody here, since it was passed around last night, nobody seems to have anything in the Vistani.
You look around and with the night, I'll get with your perception was what before 17?
Yes,
17. You would notice it doesn't seem they have the capability of doing this fine type work, fixing bowls, pots, things of that nature to get things through, welding things or mending things for horses at times, but you're probably not going to find out what you need here.
A light bulb kind of goes off in Erlon's head, and he seemingly forgot something. His eyes would light up, and he... Let's see, 1 sec here. Where's that? Oh. Does mending require anything with the spell? Like for the physical components?
Don't believe so. You might need a ball of twine, actually.
Twine?
Might need a ball of twine. You looking that up over there, my friend?
You.
Okay.
259.
Perfect. You got it written down?
Yeah, I got it written down.
Beautiful. Good idea.
2 lodestones.
2 lodestones.
So you need some rocks.
Rocks.
They're magnets.
Magnets. Yep.
Alright, he looks around his own stuff, and he can't find any because he didn't bring any with him.
Mhm.
So he kind of looks around and sees if anybody's carrying any sort of lodestones that he can use or even borrow. And if he finds any, would I roll for that, or see if? What would you say?
Yeah, I would say. I'd say roll persuasion.
So it's 12.
12. Alright, it takes you a few minutes. You're walking around asking people. A lot of people just shrug and shake their head as they're trying to work, banging posts into the ground and straightening tent poles and tightening tents and whatnot. You eventually find somebody who's unloading a cart, one of the new carts that have come, and there's a fair bit of boxes left in there that you see. And the guy, there's a man in there. He turns around with the box and kind of stops as you're standing there, and he says, "Hey, how can I help you?"
Yes, looking for lodestones. And he holds up his hurdy-gurdy, this kind of string cranked instrument. He can see it. Probably he might have even been one of the ones that was passed around to last night, possibly. And I know an incantation that may be able to fix it, but it requires a lodestone. This is my grandfather's, and he'd be deeply upset if he were to find it in this condition. He opens the compartment and shows him the broken gears. Do you have a lodestone or two that I could take off your hands?
One second while I get my dice open. He looks around in the immediate area and fumbles through the box quickly and says, I don't see one here handy. I might have one in here, but it's going to take a little while. If you're willing to wait, I might be able to.
Even one, I don't mind. Then I can get the other one to the city, if since we might be going, or yeah. Even if you have one.
If you're going to help there, take this. Put it down over there.
Oh.
And then he starts handing you boxes,
Okay.
box after box after box. Roll investigation as you're moving the boxes.
Not one.
Not one. Okay.
For 4.
He's just piling boxes on you. He's pushing your ability to stay balanced as a monk. I would say roll a dexterity check or acrobatics. Sorry.
Acrobatics?
Yeah.
17.
Okay, you're able to manage it. One time you're up on one foot as he puts one box on top because he's up 4 feet above you. You angle it backwards and you're able to get the boxes down to the ground without them falling down.
Going a bit fast, are we?
Then we're going to cut to Ravum. You awaken. You see. You hear one of the ladies hit one of the other men beside you. If you have fallen asleep at a particular bench after leaving a particular tent or two before your night was finished to get a final drink, and the night was so beautiful, there was still people around, and you fell asleep right there.
I forget what we said my original purpose for coming here was, but I think it was looking for family.
You just kind of knew had the feeling they were going to be around here. You knew it was festival time, and this might be one of the places, and lo and behold, they were there.
Yeah. So, just wander around, make some connections with it, see if there's any rumors going on, stuff like that.
Okay, so I'll get you to roll persuasion with advantage.
$22.
Alright, 22. Well, you would hear from some of them. There's a few that are taking a break from the work. They're set up quite quickly, these tents across, and it seems to start to curve around the main tent itself and come up towards the road again. You can see them in the corner, a few of them take a break, taking a break, and you approach. And before you even approach, you can hear them loudly discussing things about happenings. There's 2 different tribes have found each other, and a lot of different news from different parts of the particular continent come through. You hear one of them tell the other, "There's not much wood coming out of the north. Not much wood coming out of the north anymore. There's they don't like it. They're not trading the wood coming out of the wilds." The other man looks at him and says, "That's odd. That's been going on for so long. It's what they do. It's what they do around here." The other one shrugs, and they kind of look over at you at that point, and they give you a nod, and they open up a space in the circle, and you can join.
Go over and introduce myself, and
Ravam, nice to meet you.
pleasure.
My name's Kel. Where are you coming from?
I've spending a lot of time in town recently, but looking to make some trips up north if I can find the right company.
Oh, it's easy to go into the woods. They'll let you in, but tales are now that not too many are coming out.
And that's sort of where the appropriate company comes into place. Maybe there's some danger up north that no one really knows about. Try and find some escorts and make a profit out of it.
Best of luck to you there. You won't find too many around here that'll leave the tribe, I'm sure.
And there's very few of us that do.
The Laropa tribe, they generally travel around Delron and over the sea to the lower shears. They have some space over there that they frequent also. Being followers of Nurail, Nurail is a prominent god in the lower shears. They also say that there's some tension between the lower shears or the north shears and the south shears. More tension growing, that they want to mine more and more, as this particular debate has been going on for several hundred years now, as it is. But the Vistani have a feeling for the horizon. They have a feeling when it's safe, when it's not, and they are sometimes uncomfortable in the land. They don't know what is going to happen, and sometimes that's dangerous. But other than that, just different news. They share a lot about their families, who new children, new weddings, people moving to different tribes and whatnot. But that's pretty much it from them. And then as you're exiting that conversation, you can see a familiar, sticking out like a sore thumb, half-elf, kind of balancing 6 or 7 boxes laden with different weighted material. And he kind of balances on one foot, and you think he's going to go, and then he comes back, and then he gets all the boxes all on the ground in a safe place.
High elf.
Sorry, my mistake. High elf. High elf.
You can see one nodding in there. Some of them are hard to tell apart. But anyways, I'll go over and see how he's making out. It wasn't overly social last night, but maybe it's warmed up a little.
Seems to be helping.
Yep. Oh, it seems so. Erlon's just going like bam, 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 like working a line at Apple Valley, just going, and he stops for just a quick second and glances, sees Raven come up, and he gives a quick wave for like with his pinky, like holding hi, because he's holding the boxes, putting them down. But no, Raven, is it?
Yes, Erlon, was it?
Yeah, indeed. How are you?
Not too bad. I'll give him a hand with some of the boxes.
All right.
Spent the last decade on a farm, far away from home. But But this is something else.
You get used to it after a while.
You frequently move the Vistani, yes?
Yeah, nomads, mostly. Some of us do set up shop every once in a while, but generally it's one large family moving around, and this is sort of what happens when two or more of us meet in the same place.
Oh, yes. This gentleman says he may have a lodestone for me. He's looking through his boxes there. And I'm helping him unload.
What do you need a lodestone for?
I have a spell that was taught to me by my sister Mending. She was a mage. She taught me that spell for my grandfather's hurdy-gurdy last night. I want to see if that'll help fix it.
I'm sure we can figure something out. I wasn't in clearest of mind last night. I also know that stuff.
Oh, you do? Yes?
I also have the stones.
Oh, you do?
Just as that, because you rolled a 19 and a 15 to find the stones as you guys started to talk. He comes up with the lodestones. Oh, well. Yeah, thanks for your help anyway.
But, oh,
He gives you the lodestones.
do you need help putting everything back?
No, we're here to enjoy family. Please, enjoy your friends. Go have some breakfast. Beans. Again. Don't worry, they're good. If you haven't had them a dozen times in a row.
This will be my first.
And he gestures that way, and he seems to go back to organizing what boxes he had been unpacking. And they are, wooden homemade slat boxes with the spaces in between them, and homemade handles all worn down. You guys can just see that these boxes have been around for quite some time. They keep good care of their things.
Erlon goes back to his camp and inviting Ravim to come back with him for a bit of green tea that he has. And he puts a little log on the fire and just puts a kettle on the spit. Starts heating up the fire there to make some green tea.
Okay.
Some matcha.
Is that all you're having for breakfast?
I don't need much. After we left home, we didn't eat for quite a while in search of a roof over our heads. I ended up having to learn how to hunt, and that my grandfather taught me everything. But my father, he was a politician. He didn't know much about the ways of nature. Grenhelda provides as long as you're willing to search and have faith. So, no, I don't need too much else apart from this. Would you like a cup?
I will join you for tea, but I am going to skip out for a bowl of some of those beans. They are quite delicious.
Very good. Fair enough. So
I'll be back shortly.
he'll kind of has these kind of like stone. They look sort of like this kind of glass where it's kind of like a tumbler, but it's more made out of clay. He just hands one over to Ravin, pours a little bit of matcha powder in there. It's kind of powderized tea. He just pours the boiling water over, lets it sit, and just hands it off to him and pours one for himself and sips.
Okay.
Cross-legged, seemingly just conscious meditation.
All right.
I'll definitely try this tea.
All right. Let's try his tea.
It's definitely got an earthy, kind of grassy. It's a good quality tea. It seems to be something that somebody the likes of him would not normally have. Like, it seems like he got this from somewhere else. Maybe he had it imported, but this tastes expensive. It does taste expensive. It does taste good quality.
Roll investigation. As a man of trade, or looking to do
16.
16. Yeah, you're. This is some high-end tea.
Yeah.
This is not something you'd find at your local bazaar in the desert.
Yeah, this isn't something we normally deal with around here, but probably wouldn't be my first time having something of this quality, but
No, that's
not in this situation.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a, as Erlon is himself, a bit of a sore thumb sticking out.
Okay, so you have some lodestones. You
After
are sipping your tea.
after Erlon finishes his tea, he takes the hurdy-gurdy again and still cross-legged, setting the hurdy-gurdy across. He takes a deep breath, holds his hand up, and lodestones in the other hand, kind of balancing them like this. Places his hand down upon the outside of the hurdy-gurdy with the compartment open and just focuses. And he casts mending.
Okay.
And he sees if anything happens.
As you cast the spell, you can hear immediately tink, 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 tink. Several different pieces of something on the inside cling to one end, and you cast the spell. You're not quite sure if it had any effect or what happened particularly.
So Erlon opens his eyes, blinks a few times, and sets the lodestones down to his left and peers inside, looking up, seeing if those gears that were broken were restored. I guess I'll investigate it.
Yep.
20.
Okay, so you open the compartment, you kind of slide it out a bit, and as it slides out, one of the bars near the bottom, you can see a few different chunks and bits of metal gathering as it comes out, and you catch just in time before they fall to the ground. But it seems to be it's broken, and several of the gears have been broken and worn down. It doesn't seem like you're going to be able to focus on the instrument as a whole. You might have to figure out which ones go with which, but there's 13 or 14 chunks there, and as you really get a good look now, there is several sets of gears inside of this particular machine.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Please continue.
Yeah. Erlon takes a deep breath, stands up, sets the hurdy-gurdy down, turns around and punches his cart as hard as he can in anger.
Okay. Athletics.
That's 6.
6, okay. The wood doesn't break. There's a thwack as your fist hits the wood, and you kind of hold it there for a second because it kind of hurt a little.
Yep.
Yeah, covering it, trying to hide it, or just outburst.
Angry.
Okay, yeah.
Just
well,
anger.
It does draw some attention.
He
People
just,
kind of looking.
after that, he just leans up against the cart like this and just takes a deep breath, regains his composure and holds his hand and sits back down cross-legged. Just stays silent for the time being.
Okay. As you're sitting here against your cart, the familiar smell of what you're carrying wafts in your nose, and you begin to remember that you were going somewhere. You were making a delivery.
Right. So, okay. He looks around for Ravim, because that's the only really familiar person he knows of, I guess, at this point.
He's certainly made himself more familiar than the rest, yeah.
Yeah. So he looks down Ravim after putting his lodestones and hurdy-gurdy in the back of his cart and securing everything, tearing down his camp. He goes over to Ravim, if he can find him.
Oh, I didn't stray far. I just hopped out for some of the breakfast and then came back. Both the time you punched your car and sat down. Didn't really want to interrupt, so I'm just sort of sitting there eating, watching.
So Erlon's left hand seems to be kind of like
Swollen.
bloody on the knuckles a little bit.
Oh,
because
yeah,
he
of course.
whacked that
Yeah.
card. He was mad. But he looks over to Ravin and he says, which city again? Which one was that I was going to? I forget.
Abundance.
Abundance. Well, I'm off to Abundance, Ravin. I don't know if you're headed that way, but
I was planning on returning here shortly. I can expedite my departure, I suppose.
yeah.
You want some company?
Yes, please. Yeah, that would be excellent. I don't have many. I have an extra seat on my carriage, but I'm sure you have your own method of transport.
I have a horse around here somewhere. Give me some time to track it down.
Sure.
You find your horse shortly. It's been tied up to some random wagon.
Yeah, they probably gather up all the horses and tie them around, so there's 4 or 5 different posts, and it's like, you're not here, you're here.
You find it. Untie it, nobody says anything.
I certainly hope not. It's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
horse. What are you doing with that horse? Taking my horse. What do you expect?
No one's taking names or nothing. That's
Yeah.
all. You take your
No,
horse and
I-
walk away. Yeah.
Sign out here.
Little goblin comes and rolls out from underneath the wagon.
Goodness. So, Erlon gets into his carriage seat. Well, I guess it's more of a cart with like a bench at the front.
Yep, it's not too stylish.
No, not too stylish.
But you're a light kind of guy, so
Yep.
yeah, sturdy. You can manage the heavy, the rough road.
So he, screw it, I'll roll animal handling to get the cart going, and that's a nat 19.
Okay, yeah, these are very well trained beasts of burden, donkeys, and they pull the wagon, and you're up to speed in no time.
He does look back, to making sure Ravum's following in tow.
You can see him cutting across the field, catching up to you, going to converge in your position.
Yeah, he slows the pace of the donkeys just a bit so Ravum can catch up in time, and then once they converge.
I'd be able to catch up, no problem. Because I could actually run with the horse.
Yep, no, he got like an Arabian style horse really quick, I'm sure.
Horse versus donkey is not war.
And you guys catch up and head on down the road.
Would Ravum know anything about the political hierarchy of Brel? Like, where my guy's from?
Ask him.
Let's see that.
You're trying to ask him without asking him.
Yeah, kind of.
Short of, hey, do you know what happened with my father and all that? It's like,
See. So whereabouts are you from initially? Are you from out east, or because I'm from out northwest, more towards Brel?
my family travels around. It's sort of, we don't have a permanent home. I'd imagine some of the family has been up that way at some point, but nothing really seems to ring a bell. Probably would have been many years ago if I was.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's been quite a few years since we left home in Brel. No, we got... my father dishonored my family. He laid with a human. At least that's what counts for dishonor in my home. Kind of smirks and scoffs.
I was going to say that's a Tuesday night for us.
Indeed. The Vistani seem like very open-ended people. Very welcoming.
You have to give us a reason to really despise you.
Nothing short of theft or murder really goes unheard of or unpunished. I'm sure. Erlon looks off into the distance and just keeps on keeping his donkey going with his cart as best as it can.
It reminds me of something as you guys are leaving the tented area. You're at about this point. You're saying, you say you're getting about a kilometer outside. Maybe not that far. It's pretty flat land. You get a funny feeling in the back of your neck, Raven.
Something's not quite right.
Do I notice? Or well, he just said that. What do you mean? What happened?
I don't know. Perhaps we should hurry to town.
That donkey's going in high gear now.
Okay. So you guys kick it up a notch and head into town.
At some point during our travel, I would imagine I would ask how the mending went.
Terrible.
No such luck.
It's like I'm a novice. It's like I never even dealt with magic. My people are supposed to be magically inclined, but it's like I'm a fool trying to play a scholar.
Roll Arcana.
It's cocked. 14.
14, yeah, it's good enough. You would know the mending spell fixes single breaks, and like a tear or a one particular broken gear if you had the particular piece that lined up with it. And you notice that there's quite a few gears, so it's going to take some dismantling,
several castings.
Yeah, a series of castings. It's going to take some time in a workshop or replacement gears, something of that sort.
Well, yeah, no, that's in the back of Erlon's mind. I'm sure Raven would know it more than likely, but yeah, no, it's in the back of his mind. He thought he could just fix it in one go. He's still relatively young by Elven standards, so he's just, a little bit taken by expectations.
Okay.
Yep. It's in the back of his head.
All right, and then about an hour and a half passes, and you guys begin to make your way onto town.
Does Erlon? No, Erlon didn't feel what Raven felt. That little twinge at the back of his neck.
You did not.
Okay. Looking around as the road kind of goes, is there any other tracks?
If you're gonna look around, I'll give you, before you guys get on down the road, before you kick it up, I'll give you a perception with advantage. Or sorry, with disadvantage. My apologies.
7 and of course I rolled it. 7 plus. It's 11.
11. You look around. You don't particularly see anything out there. It's pretty wide open country right here. You don't see anybody in the distance or anything. You look back at the tents. Nothing seems in place.
Okay. Yep. So as they're going along at further speed, at a higher speed, of course, back to the destination, to Abundance. Erlon just looks over to Raven and he says, "Do you have any inkling about what went wrong back there, or what felt wrong yet, or still nothing?"
Nothing I'm totally feeling wrong, but it's not uncommon for us to get some gut feelings, and I just had one.
Okay, I see. Is it common for the vicinity to have those sort of premonitions? He kind of smirks, just not necessarily being serious when saying premonitions, but not being sarcastic as well.
Some of us have better gut feelings than others.
Makes sense, especially useful for a nomadic tribe. Or people, I should say.
Alright, 10th.
Hello.
You are awoken a few times by wagons. The sounds, the clear sound of wagons, but they seem to be accompanied by bells and just a lot of excess noise. At some point you do get up out of your bed. You're currently staying at an inn.
I was just about to side of the road, but okay.
No, you are actually have your room and board paid for by Dermot Cresthaven. He's the quartermaster currently. That is on. That is in command of your particular, the particular service that you're on right now. Briefly, it's you've found it difficulty sleeping the past couple of weeks. As coming off the wall, you've been sent on a kind of easy duty kind of thing, just to travel a little bit, to do some errands, get you off of the depths of Keldrin on the mountain. So you have been sent to Delron to go into the wilds and collect a wagon load of wood. This revered magical wood that they say can help weapons hit better, can help armor be stronger, and that's what you currently are on. You and 5 of your fellow compatriots went in with a series of mercenaries that have been paid as well. Only about 10 of you total came back out, and you and your...
How many of us went in?
Altogether it was probably about 30.
Ugh.
It was not a very enjoyable trip. You traveled in for about a week, and then you were lost for about a week, and that's when everything went bad. There was
very poorly.
the trees seemed to come to life. The shadows seemed to be creatures and not at the same time. You were able to harvest a quarter load of what you anticipated, but you came out, and you and the only soldier fellow that came out with you, the handler of this particular crew was Ornal. Ornal is a dwarf with his right leg from the knee down is a wooden post.
That's unfortunate.
Sorry, left leg. Left leg.
One of his legs is
Not that it's a particular importance, but I have written down as left, so I'm going to go with that. And so you've been woken out of a sleep that you've been... Would you drink a lot? Just to set the morning for you.
probably a couple.
Okay. So, sleeping off a mild night, and you awake, unable to go back to sleep. The sun is up, filling the room. More and more wagons seem to be jingling, and bells clanging from them. You can even make out some instruments.
Oh God! Why is there noise? Get up, put my gear on, and head downstairs, try to find something that's edible.
Okay. At the main floor of the Bulbous Orange, the main area is about half full. There's probably 1 or 2 seats at every table, maybe 2 tables that are completely empty. At one particular table, you see Ornell and Dermot. They're sitting together. Dermot has a series of pages in front of him, and one that he's working on right now where he has his food pushed off to the left-hand side. He seems to be pretty deep in ink and quill. Ornell, sitting there, smoking on his pipe. He's got his peg leg up on the chair next to him, and he is drinking his morning brew. It's called whiskey.
This is appropriate for a dwarf. Dermot? Stumpy?
Ornell chuckles and says, "Oh, Tanith, good to see you this morning."
Yeah. It's a day, that's it. Also, all the noise outside.
Seems to be a gathering.
Oh, great. Those things I don't like.
It's good for us, though. We can go out without anybody noticing. I like it that way.
Yeah.
Sit, eat. The grub is all good. The grub is all good. The grub is all right.
Is there bacon at least?
Roll perception.
Oh, that's a quality 13.
Take a big whiff, and in the land of plenty, they have bacon.
Oh, thank Oros.
There's a wide spread of bacon and eggs, a lot of farm type food, really hearty, a lot of root vegetables, fried up in lots of grease, lots of animal grease. It smells great.
Now this is how you properly start the day. Giant plate of bacon and eggs. I will order a loaded plate of bacon and eggs.
You don't have to. It's a plate's brought to you. You
Good.
sit down and there's a barmaid comes in and
Good.
slides a wooden disc in front of you, and it's filled with food.
Oh, good. I'll eat that relatively quickly, as I do. When you're in the military, you don't really have time to eat some days. So you learn to eat fast.
And so you eat. It's great. I mean, you've been here for about a day or two now, recouping from the trip from the wilds all the way to abundance. It's taken about 2 weeks. I'm going to say here. I drew a legend, actually, but you wouldn't know it. So I remember what it was, though. So it took you about a month to get here from the wilds to abundance. Here we go. And you're here, and this is where you're taking the road east to the coast, and where you're going to move your collected wood across the sea. So as you're finishing up the Dermot is a half elf that you know. He rolls up this, or pours some sand on this piece of parchment he's working on, blows it off, and some kind of goes in your food as you just happen to be finishing, but he doesn't even pay attention. He rolls it up and shakes it off and puts it aside and begins to eat his meal. And he says absent-mindedly to Ornal beside him, and he says, where's he coming from? He looks over and he kind of pushes it over and he says, "You can go hang this up, right?" Really quickly, very fast. I'm going to say it slower because I didn't even hear myself say it. He says, "You can go hang it up, right?"
Where?
Not you. He was talking to Ornell.
Good.
Ornell takes it and stands up and walks over to a board. And you can hear him hammering a piece of a spike into this big wooden board that hangs on the wall with a few feet around it for people to look at. And then we switch back to you folk. You guys have seen third or fourth wagon now go by, just dressed in bells and noises, people playing instruments, but they don't seem to be Vistani. They just seem to be townsfolk from Abundance. A few of them give you the nod. Erlon, you're familiar with them, you've seen them before. They're farm owners and people have ancillary businesses within. They give you the nod as they go by. I imagine they're going towards whatever festival seems to be amassing 2 hours over the city.
Okay, he gives them waves. Hey Marcus, hi Maven. Just, familiar names
Of course, and you see,
here and there.
work I don't have to do. Done for me. Beautiful, right?
So he keeps on going. So he is now what the Gold Petal family is farming, because they're kind of like a split family of like gold panners and farmers that split out into other things. But his from one of his grandmothers, they grow and dry medicinal herbs as well as tea.
Okay.
So there's those two things, and they also grow some root vegetables just to sustain themselves. So there's those, and that's basically what he's delivering, dried tea that's in powdered form. That's what tea he had, that Ravim had. And he's delivering some basic root vegetables that can sustain the journey, and some medicinal herbs that are more expensive.
Okay.
So he can bring the profits back to his family.
Okay. And would you say that this is a once in a month delivery? This is a yearly delivery? This is a what?
I would say every quarter.
Every quarter?
Every
okay,
quarter,
so
yeah.
you're looking at, okay, sounds
3
good.
months.
Gotcha.
They kind of follow, I guess you could say like a quarterly kind of delivery
I
plan.
like quarterly stuff I can work with. That's good.
So it's a sizable delivery. Easily, if somebody nabbed it and knew it was in the crates, knew where to sell it to, they could make a pretty decent profit off the medicinal herbs alone.
Yeah, you're looking at making like a 15 gold a
15
quarter
gold?
kind of thing. For I'm going to say that you guys have been in business for 10 years. You would say, I think, what was it? I would try every time I go to look for the book to see the wealth scale. I think 1 gold a day is
It's a lot.
yeah.
Sizable.
So a whole, or sorry, 1
Skilled
gold,
laborers generally get about a silver a day.
a silver a day. So that's what I'm thinking. A skilled laborer would be a farmer.
Yep.
And that would be roughly between a gold plus or minus 3 silver a week. So if you make say 50 gold a year, you've made a year's worth on a skilled. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm going with. That's
Yep.
what I imagined.
So about
Perfect.
12, 15 gold
Yeah,
for
between
the
12
shipment.
to 15 gold, and depends on how you kind of sell it. But I mean, you got good relations with people. No one's out trying to screw you that you know of.
Yep.
But you never know what can happen.
So this is a delivery in particular. Where is he delivering it to?
In abundance. Let's see.
Well, I guess deliveries, because there's 3 separate products. There's root vegetables, so assuming
Yeah.
that goes to the market, or like a restaurant, etc. Medicinal herbs, that's like your alchemist, healer,
Yeah,
etc.
there's the name for that. There's
To the apothecary.
apothecary. Bingo. You got it.
Apothecary?
Yeah.
Welcome to knowing stuff again.
And tea. So that'll be like, I guess, he would sell the tea, like just as a side stand, I guess.
Yeah, you go set up for the day.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
He's gonna
Okay,
set up.
perfect. All right, sounds
Tea
good. I like
salesman.
that. Okay. I like that. I like that. Good. Perfect. Yeah, it just so happens that the delivery you're making is to the Bulbous Orange.
Bulbous orange.
The Bulbous Orange. They purchase quite a lot of your root veggies for their meals that they prepare, and tea as well.
Excellent. The name of his tea is Golden Green.
Golden green.
Golden Green, because it's a green tea.
All right.
It's good for the health.
So gold and green.
Golden Green.
Golden green. Gotcha.
Golden Green.
Perfect.
So he stops. Well, if there's an empty space outside of the Bulbous Orange along the street, he'll
There
just
is now.
yeah.
You guys have seen plenty of wagons move out of abundance heading the way you guys are coming from.
He'll kind of pull the donkey cart in between there and just kind of set it there, making sure that nobody's there's no alley beside him or anything like that can be anybody can come out and snatch his goods from or anything, and he'll hop off his cart.
You would know that it's not something that happens deep in the city. Outskirts there are bandits. There definitely are. But
Okay.
You would know this deep in the city, something organized would have had to happen for your thing to go missing. It's
Gotcha.
not really that heard of in this particular area.
Okay. So he takes a few crates, and he has a kind of like a sort of like a primitive variant, a wooden variant of a kind of like a how does that, what's that thing called where you like kind of what's that thing called where you, the actual name for it, where you can like put something on it. It has 2 wheels.
A cart?
Not a cart, like
Dolly?
a dolly. Yeah, dolly.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's got like a primitive kind of version of a dolly made out of wood.
Okay.
Puts a few carts on, root vegetables on bottom, and tea on top. And he carries it up, swings the door to the bulbous orange open, and he looks for the, I guess it would be the, who he would deliver to the person working behind the bar, I guess, because they would be kind of the all-around laborer slash barkeep, unless otherwise directed.
You are familiar with Gren Wellen. He's the owner and operator of the Bulbous Orange. A rather bulbous man himself. Fairly wealthy. It's one of the higher end places in Abundance.
And who's working the bar right now?
It's him.
That's
He's
him?
there. Yep, you can see him. His shirt's got a bit of a stain on it, but other than that, he's got his hair kept. He's got a large bald spot that goes way back, and his beard is gelled, very similar to George hair, yes. And he has a medium beard, and it's all gelled and oiled, to a point that kind of curls at the bottom.
Is he a dwarf?
No, he is human.
Human? Okay, good.
Yep.
So Erlon will, he has the business ledger in one hand, holding the, he's kind of got the business ledger under his arm, like a copy of it, in one hand, and holding the dolly in the other. He's got about 4 crates on it, so it's hefty, but it's not anything that he can't handle. And he sets it on the side of the bar next to it, like, you know how bars it, and then has the door, kind of like that.
Yep.
He raises his hand. Gren, gold pedal.
Gren, tell you, he seemed to be lost in thought there for a moment. And he perks his head up and he says, "Ah, Erlon, welcome." He walks over to you, puts a rag down that he was holding, and says, "Has it been a season already?"
That it has indeed, Gren. How have you been?
Business is good. Business is good. He kind of roll perception.
Perception? 7.
7. Okay, he kind of gestures in some direction in the bar, but it's in some direction. Business is good. He kind of looks over at the edge and he pulls the large piece of wood that allows access behind the bar. It clanks down on the other side, and he comes out and looks at what you got, and he picks up the tea, the big bag, and smells it. Smells like a good stock this year.
Yep. No, the weather's been kind.
Good.
Weather's been kind.
Good.
Glenhilda has provided for us indeed. So he sets the business ledger out on the thing there, and he just pulls a quill and a pot of ink, unseals it, hands in the quill. Your signature, and he just points along a dotted line for the delivery.
Yes. One moment he moves some boxes over and he looks at the turnips and says, "You have any of the golden turnip this year? Did they come through?"
The golden turnips, we got a half crop of them, and they did come through. There's some out front in my cart. I'll bring them in for you. That was earmarked for your delivery, but I will let you know that it's less than what was last quarter, just because of the fact that there was some termites that got into them, and they worked their way through half of the crop, and then we lost a bit. But there are some regular turnips there still, and we still have the beets and the carrots as we normally deliver.
That's fine. Very well. Let me see. He takes out this pair of glasses and he kind of puts it on, and they're very narrow lenses, and they kind of go and hook up around. They're very flimsy, like they're just sitting on wire.
Yep.
And he puts them on, and he kind of looks down, and he takes it and says, "Yes, I was looking for more of the golden turnips. Roll persuasion."
Persuasion. Well, I can throw in an extra crate of the tea if it'll sate you.
With advantage.
With advantage. That is 19.
19. Yes. That'll suffice. Very well, that'll suffice. He signs his name on the paper, puts some sand on it, blows it off, and says, "Very good. Will you be staying the night again?" He rolls it up, hands it back to you.
I will, if that's if you have a room available. If that's fine.
Of course, there's a festival going on to the can't remember which direction. West.
Yes.
To the west. If you're interested, I can't go myself. There's too much work to do around here, but
No worries. Speaking of work, let me unload these for you, and I'll put them in your kitchen, your pantry, just so you don't have to, because it seems like you have a good amount of people working on the floor right now. So I'll put everything away for you, like I know where you want it. Unless did you change anything for where everything goes, or
no. Latch is still in the back room. Mind the stairs going down.
Yep.
You're tall, so
yeah. So he'll go get the rest of his shipment, take it in, and mind the stairs, and he'll put it all in. He'll kind of write on a piece of parchment T, set it on top of one of the stacks of crates, vegetables on the other,
okay.
and there's an extra crate of tea.
Excellent. So you take your time getting to work and doing that back and forth in and out. Ravim, you arrive to the bulbous orange at the same moment.
I'll go in and while he's doing that, I'll
he'll
get some lunch.
He'll have gone in and started speaking with him.
Yeah.
There are tables around. Roll perception. Excuse me, another drink. Dry throat. Oh, this is bad.
24.
Kids are watching the movie now.
That was a nat 20, wasn't it?
Oh, thank you very much. 24? Okay, so as you walk in...
You rolled a nat 20?
What?
You rolled a nat 20?
Nice, very good. Is that the first skill check nat 20 of the eve of the first campaign, first episode? Very good. Very good. I know I'm still going to roll the first critical, though. I know I'm going to kill one of your NPCs in the first one by something
Oh,
random.
don't worry, I've got a spare lined up.
Cart falls on your head. So, you see this large wooden half-moon sign hanging from above the door, and it's this large speckled orange, and it has 2 feet, 2 arms, and a man's head smoking a pipe. It's the bulbous orange.
Interesting.
And you walk in. Immediately you smell a wonderful meal. You can smell hash browns right off the bat. You look to your right-hand side. It's fairly busy. There's one table, 2 tables that seem to be empty, and the rest have 1 or 2 seats left from them. You notice another particular out of the normal crowd of standard humans dressed in garb and leathers and workwear. You see one particular table with 2 men in armor that is similar or very close to those who would dress and be a part of the Knights of Oros, also known as the Coup.
Is there a table nearby, near them that's open?
Yeah, they're in the table closest to the fire, and the 2 tables that are next to them are empty, and they're between the bar and the fire. So that would be one of those completely empty.
I'll take a seat at one of those places and I'll order a big breakfast.
Okay, sounds good. The maid comes by and asks you what you have. You order breakfast. It takes no time for her to come back. She brings this big round wooden plate with assorted foods, eggs, bacon, hash browns, all the things you can imagine. There are pieces of fruit as well. It's quite a large breakfast.
I'll enjoy my breakfast.
Okay. And the door opens again, and we have Erlon. He comes back in with another box of root vegetables and heads into the kitchen.
That'll I'm assuming that just to pace things along, that'll be like the last thing he puts in. Just one more crate he couldn't fit on the dolly. He just because he initially planned it so there wouldn't be an extra crate on there. So the extra crate of tea that kind of made him have to go grab the other one there manually instead of getting the dolly.
Yep.
And he'll in the other on top of the crate is his hurdy-gurdy. So he brings that back out and looks leans against the bar and looks to Gren.
As you're walking towards the bar, you walk by a dwarf walks right in front of you, cuts you right off. He happens to be in this black armor and this black cloak as well. Just walks right in front of you. Doesn't even look. And he walks up to this big board with a spike and starts hammering this posting into the big board. Clank, 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 clank. You can proceed now.
My apologies. Sorry, I wasn't watching where I was going.
There is no response.
He squints and just turns away, looking for Gren. And when he finds him, he'll kind of set the hurdy-gurdy compartment open. Gren, you remember last season how when we first brought in those golden turnips, how I got you an extra shipment? That favor, I need to call that in. Do you know anybody who can fix this? Pulls open the compartment. And
Kind of looks inside, it kind of jingles and jangles. Take it to Dargan. He's the farrier and armorer, but looks like more finer work. Perhaps Gelrish. Gelrish works with clocks and things. Perhaps he might be able to help as well.
very good, very good.
Other than that, I'd say take it back to Krell. That's where you'd find.
I can't go back there.
Pardon my ill humor.
I see. Very good. I understand. Well, I appreciate
Shakes
that.
his head. Oh, elves. Under his breath a little, but you know he's a playful man anyway. Just his humor doesn't catch you the right way.
Yeah, no. Thank you, Grant. I appreciate that. So, Gelrish, where can I find Gelrish?
You would know Gelrish generally where he is. You're quite familiar with the town, but I've really had need of Gelrish, the clockmaker.
Yep.
But he is there. You know that he's a gnome for sure. For that sticks out. But I don't believe you've been in particular contact with him. Your guys' businesses haven't really lined up.
Very good, very good. Sure thing. And he spots Rav on his way out, and he says, I have to sell what remains of my shipment. I'm going to be outside if you need me. And he'll make his way out.
Okay.
Unless he has something to say.
Probably going to spend the evening here if you want to meet up later this evening.
Yep, nope. I have an arrangement with Gren. He's allowed me a room for the night. So once I get everything sorted, I'll set everything up outside and sell what remains of my shipment, and we'll go further from that point.
Sounds like a plan.
So he goes outside, sets up his cart in his shop. It has a kind of an elaborate kind of silver painted sign. It says Gold Petals Graces, and it's medicinal herbs, tea. That's the main stock right now because all the root vegetables went to the bulbous orange.
And you would attend. You know that there's a regular market here, and you attend quarterly with your goods.
Yep.
So you would set up in that particular area. There are similar tents to yours, all kind of made ramshackle up against whatever structures they could in this particular area. And you greet the day. You set up and wait. It seems pretty empty in the streets so far, though. I mean, you're used to a much more lively crowd and abundance, but it just seems to be pretty slow at the moment. Pretty quiet. Ravum, do you want to do anything particular? I guess you and Ravum and Tanith. Yeah. We'll have Ornal's just come back and sat down, and you've just finished your meal as well. You guys are pretty much in the bar at the same time now, so not so forcing. Say hey, what's up, guy over there? Just giving you the parameters of where you guys are particularly at right now.
pretty sure I stick out like a sore thumb.
You
'cause I'm
do.
a giant blue dragon man.
Yeah, you do. You most certainly do. And you have chainmail right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so in chainmail. And that's all black. You've got a black cloak on.
Hood's down so I can eat. Clearly I'm not hiding what I am, it's just
Nope. You guys notice a few people go up and look at the post that Ornal has put up. You watch Ornal and Dermot watch them as they walk. They kind of chat back and forth to each other quietly. People come in, people go out. In the morning, they kind of just, you guys are just kind of hanging out. You guys don't have to leave until tomorrow. So these guys are just kind of taking it easy in abundance. This is you got the first time you've really had time to.
this is vacation.
Yeah, you from traveling from the wilds, you would have stopped in the town of Resolute, which is also a big town, but it's more structured, more militaristic. I guess it's one of the major towns before you get into the wilds, and then between them and there is farmland. You'd hit the odd town in between, like every couple days travel, but it wouldn't be anything near abundance, and you'd be sleeping in haystacks or tents of your own on your own accord between those places.
Yeah.
So this is a bed, this is a bath. If you choose to bathe, of course. I don't know if Tanith is that kind of dragonborn.
When he feels the need to wash the blood of his enemies off, he will. Most of the time it's just quick scrub with some sand and good enough.
There you go.
Water makes the chain down fast. Dermot, Stumpy, you guys are gonna stay here. I'm gonna go for a walk. And I will keep calling that dwarf Stumpy because he is short and he has a peg leg.
Dermot kind of just nods, just not really paying attention.
As he does.
He's been like this. You've noticed him even up and around. That's just his way. He believes he is much better than everybody else below him.
I was gonna say he doesn't give a shit, but okay.
Yeah, that's kind of the air that he's giving off. Or not. Gives the nod. He raises his glass to you and puts his leg back up on the chair you're no longer sitting in.
His one good leg.
And you guys and you head out.
Yeah. He's not the only one with a prosthetic limb.
Yeah, as you head out of the bulbous orange, taking it all in, it's a fairly large town. No very tall buildings. Everything's kind of all on one level, except for the inns that seem to be 2 levels and warehouses that seem to be 2 levels as well. Everything seems to be rolling out from the city center itself.
Nice place.
You see not so many people walking around. The people you do see seem to be look like they're on the job, working. As the past few days you've been here, it has been a pretty busy town, but there doesn't seem to be anybody around. You do see the high elf, or not high, the elven farmer that you've seen in the bulbous orange come out of, standing behind a table underneath a tent with a few, there may be about 5 or 6 other tents around, going up each side of the road. To your left, to your right hand side, the road expands and curves out of sight.
Bolster your health with the golden green, blessed with the watchful eye of Granhilda. A cup a day keeps the scurvy away.
So does the blood of my enemies. What difference does it make?
How it tastes.
Am I being offered a free sample?
Yes.
Ooh.
He has a little pot.
Businessman.
Yeah, and he offers Tanith, as he passes, he offers him a cup of this green liquid. It's tea, obviously, but it smells very good. It smells expensive. It's earthy, aromatic, citrusy, grassy.
Take a cup, give it a sniff.
Love the
Just
sniffs.
off it.
There you go.
Not bad.
Yes, indeed. This tea helps mental acuity. It helps with digestive health, and it improves one's own sense of self. Brings one closer to Grenhilda and the lands of the living.
Maybe you should keep drinking it.
I shall. I grow it.
Good on you.
I saw you in the bulbous orange. I'm Aralon. I make frequent deliveries here every quarter. What's your name?
Tanith.
Tanith. Well, if tea's not a staple of yours, I do also have medicinal herbs, if you are interested in such. And I would note he's a Knight of Oros with his armor. Or...
You grew up in Brill. You would know histories. You would know the goings on of the world living in Brill. Yes, you would know what an Oros soldier would look like. Yes,
Okay.
or Knight of Oros. Sorry.
Medicinal herbs.
Yes. I'm sure that one with the Order of Oros would certainly need some treatment for their ailments after a bloodthirsty battle. Am I incorrect?
See a slight twinge in it. It's like his left eye's gonna just, and then he'll look at his left arm. It looks like he's just wearing just a really big gauntlet, but when he clenches it kind of creaks in a weird fashion. Not how a normal arm should creak.
Aralon squints, but he passes no unfair judgment. I can give you a discount for the services you provide to this world.
I'll just buy some of your damn herbs. How much for a pouch?
How much for a pouch?
Pouch? Let's see, a pouch.
This is your product, friend.
Merchant should know his prices off the top of his head. First things first.
It'll be just 1 silver.
I'll take 3.
3? So we'll hand off 3 of these pouches of medicinal herbs there. You know, they're like ginseng that like they would help with this kind of with like any kind of wounds. Like if you were to, now he has a little parchment that he ties around it, and it gives instructions. You boil water, soak, make a tea, and then drink it. It acts like a low-level potion if DM allows, but it does take time to make.
Can I put this into my inventory as a herbalism kit?
I would say that you have 3 pouches of that tea, gold
Medicinal
and green tea. Or is this something different? Just medicinal?
This is just medicinal herbs.
Okay.
The
I'll
golden
say
green is
that
different.
if prepared takes an hour to prepare, but you'll get advantage on a save against poison. Good. No, I can poison you.
Don't test me, God.
So I'll get you to roll persuasion, though, with advantage. As there were other people walking about there. That was a great sales pitch.
That is a... Oh, 1 sec. 13.
13, alright.
Seems inviting.
There we go. Okay. So as Tanith, you move on. Where do you keep?
Just take a leisurely walk around the block.
Okay.
If there's a block.
For the first hour, you make 12 silver, selling some herbs, some tea.
12 plus his 3?
Yeah.
And how much gold did I get from the shipment? 12, 15?
You upsold him, where you kind of he was going to try and get a lower price because of the turnips, but you gave him extra tea, so put the whole 15 gold down. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Tanith is you keep walking around. The road kind of goes in a circle around the middle of Abundance. It's kind of, like I said, it's a rolling kind of town. Just kind of expands and expands.
It's a nice ring road on it.
Yeah, and as you keep going around, you can hear the faint sounds of someone working on an anvil. There are a few more inns. You can see some residential houses.
Nice place.
Yeah, it seems to be pretty rustic. A very folky town. You can see boxes hanging beside the windows of flowers. You can see evenly spaced places. Nothing's jammed together too much. You don't see too many wild dogs or wild cats sticking out and about where you would maybe see them now because there's not a lot of people in town. It's a pretty clean and well kept town.
Compared to where I was living, this place is awesome. Fucking shithole.
As
Glad I'm out of there.
yeah, so you can keep coming all the way around, and you would find yourself back at the Bulbous Orange. Takes probably about an hour, almost 2 hours to take to the whole trip around.
Is there any benches outside?
Oh yeah, there's places to sit. There's
Low hanging fruit.
there's some benches here and there.
I mean, is there any benches right outside the Bulbous Orange?
Oh, like there, yeah. I imagine it kind of like the sort of like a Western style tavern where it has the deck you walk up onto and then the door, except not the cowboy doors or the saloon doors.
I'll just
Sorry.
have a seat on the edge of the deck with my back up against a pillar and just enjoy the sunshine.
Okay.
Gotta relax while I can.
Sounds good. So, time passes, an hour or two. He makes his silver. You can see a halfling walk out from a building across the way into the middle of the street and put down this box and stand up on the box, and he's got a bundle of scrolls, and he opens one up, and the rest are kind of in a sling on his side. He opens one up and he says, "In the north, the Green Defenders have been stopped at the wilds to make no more progress forward." He says, "In the east, more people go missing. More children now." And he says, "People of all races have been going missing since I think he says a few months now. Anyway, it's been noticeable." Then he says, to the west is the desert. Everybody knows there's nothing happening in the west." He kind of smirks on his face. And you guys know that Delron and Krell, Delron and Krell, mainly Kalorn, aren't the best of friends. They're not the best of friends. Kind of tense relations between them. And then, yeah. That's right. And then he says, "To the south Horizon has been plagued with bandits taking food convoys from Abundance to Horizon to be shipped. And he repeats these things over and over again in different tones of voice, turning a different way every few minutes, and spends about an hour doing that. You can hear some high-pitched voice calling out from the street. A few people kind of gather around, some workers on their way do stop and listen, and then move on forward. Kind of, they look at each other and shrug like they've heard this all before.
News of the world. It's a shithole.
So then a few hours are going to pass by if you guys wanted to do anything between then and there. Erlon, you're going to be at the market for about 5 or 6 hours.
Yep.
Doing-
By that time,
your thing.
everything will be sold by then. I'm assuming.
Yeah, actually get roll percentile. See how good business is for you. I'll get you to roll percentile.
Percentile. Oh, Jesus. 54.
Okay, 54.
Okay.
Did you guys want to do anything between that time? Or are you basically going to hang out outside and just enjoy the peace and quiet? It's really nice now. The wind is... I'd say it's about 26 degrees.
It's a nice day.
It's a really nice day. This is a very lush land. That's one of the big things about this area. It's not mountainous peaks that are just
It's not windy, cold, rainy, dangerous,
sharp
and
everywhere.
stupid woods. Just
Yeah.
gonna sit there the whole time, just enjoy the sun.
Brevin?
After I finish my meal, I would imagine throughout while I was doing that, I would have seen some people check out the board. I will see what posts have been put up.
Okay.
See if there's anything.
On the
Earn some coin.
so you go to the board. You see a few different things. You see old reports that the North has halted a lot of wood transport south again. It's been going down somewhat steadily, but now it's getting to the point where almost nobody can pull wood out anymore. It's only royal rulings that allow people in and out of the forest now for wood gathering. There's a post about missing children. You can see a whole bunch of them. Not just children, people too. A lot of halflings have gone missing. I would say on this particular board there's about 12 different things reporting that. And then you see the posting that the dwarf put up, and it says, upon order of the Knights of Oros, offer for mercenary work to guard a convoy to the Shears. It says it's going to be approximately a 2-month convoy, and the employer will pay a skilled man's year's pay. It says 50 gold.
Does it say who the employer is?
It's the Knights of Oros are the employer, but it does say to seek out Dermot Cresthaven.
Okay. I'll see if I can find some work around town for the day,
Okay.
and then probably this evening talk with Erlon if he was interested in.
What would you say your particular skills would be?
Calligraphy.
Calligraphy?
Yeah, calligraphy is a profession. So like a scribe or something.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe a merchant's guild or something like that.
I'm going to say as you begin to walk around, look around things, roll perception.
22.
Okay, alright. So, 22, you were able to find a familiar voice down and around towards where the market is. You see about 6 or 7 market tents and tables set up. There's a halfling kind of standing in the middle of the road on a box, and he's just stepping down from his box and picking it up, and he walks into a building just close to where the market beam is.
Would I know what his profession was, or?
He seemed to be holding a sling with some scrolls in it, and one that he had looked to be pretty roughed up.
I'll go introduce myself, and
Alright, he actually gets into the building before
I get there.
before you catch up to him, but you see a sign above the door that he did go into, and it says scrolls and slings.
I'll go in and see if there's anyone in there.
Yeah.
Other than-
You open the door, it clings a bell as the door opens, and clings it again as it closes. You can just see the back of that halfling go into a doorway that's behind a counter as you walk in, and you look to your right, and there is somebody sitting on a stool behind the counter. They see you come in, they get off the stool, and they approach. It's a human, and they look at you, and they say, "Welcome. We're here for the news."
Partially, also looking for some daily employment. I am a skilled writer, so if you needed some copying done, I could provide.
Hammer's mercy shine upon me. You know, there's some festival going off in the south, and a whole bunch of everybody's left and went there, including everybody who appears to want to not to work for me today. So, please, and one moment, kind of gives you a look over. All right, come on back, and he opens up the counter, opens it up, and he allows you through and into the back. And there seems to be 3 or 4 desks set up there with scrolls, parchment, and ink, and it seems to be pretty quiet in there, except for the one in the back that seems to be placing his scrolls on a shelf in the back. And he says, "You can sit there at Maven's desk."
Lazy bones.
Maven left and went to the festival.
And he said, he looks down, he picks up one of the scrolls just to double check, and he said, "This is fine. You keep doing this one until I say yeah."
Mm-hmm.
And he begins to walk out, and he says, that's right. I can give you a few silver for the day, depending upon your work. I'll have to see it at the end."
Awesome.
All
We'll
right.
discuss when time comes.
Very well. He says, gives you an odd looks, and just kind of shakes his head at all the empty desks and walks back out, kind of pushes the door, and you can hear the stool kind of scrape against the floor as he's out there. And I will get you to roll some performance for me, my friend.
21.
20. Oh yeah, okay. This is not challenging work. The person that was doing this before you, skilled as though they may be, they're lacking the passion behind the job. 13, and 7 is 20, and 6 is 26. Erlon, the day comes to a close. You can find yourself, not including the previous silver that you made, another 33 silver heavy in the pouch. And I've sold things at the market, so I know how much stock you're always left with. I'm going to say you're left with 5 pouches of your tea. Good roll. And 6 pouches of your medicinal herbs that give advantage on a save versus poison.
Okay. What would you say the tea would give, if anything? Because it would take about the same time to brew, if not half an hour.
Good feelings, the honest feeling that you helped a local farmer assist in helping grow his farm strong.
Buy local.
Yep. Perfect.
Feel good you bought local.
Not to mention, if you want to have any, makes you feel euphoric, this is your tea that you made. It's going to make people feel however you describe and make them feel. Nothing special right now until you can do something. I like the medicinal ones.
Yep.
That's cool. I can work with that. But the tea is definitely good. And make it how you want it to taste and make people feel.
Alright, so he'll pack up shop and go look for Gelrish before the day is fully done. He closes about a half hour to an hour early
Okay.
with what he has. So he'll close shop and cart his donkey around a little bit, making way just slowly until he finds anything that kind of indicates a clock worker or a gearhead of any sort. And a look of slight worries on his face, just barely. It's visible. It don't need a roll for insight or anything unless you roll in that one. But like
Okay.
slight worry. He's
Worried about the instrument?
the instrument. Yeah, he's just worried that his grandfather's going to kill him.
Alright, it doesn't take long. The first, if you ask anybody for directions, they tell you it's not too far.
He
Up
will.
ahead and keep going. You can't miss it. The sign on the door is actually you hear the sign on the door is actually made out of tin, unlike most of the signs around, and it has an impressions beaten into it of a gnome with a peaked hat, kind of working. It kind of looks like a spinning wheel, but he's spinning whatever's coming off the wheel into a gear. Kind of looks off the wall, but he's a gnome, right?
Okay, all right.
Very strange.
He'll lock up his cart, pulling the canvas over and tightening the ropes so that nobody can really get in without at least 10 minutes worth of work.
Okay.
And he'll go into the shop and holding his hurdy-gurdy and money bags off the side of his person.
Okay.
And he'll, just linger around. Is anybody else in the shop with him?
As you go into the shop, it's pretty quiet. You do see an older gnome sitting at a table. He's at eye height with you, where he's sitting, and he seems to be working on something. You can't really tell what it is from this distance, but he's got his face down. You can see his hands are up, and his head's twisting back and forth as he's looking at it. Didn't notice you come in.
He'll approach and, hello. He'll make his presence known.
Oh, oi! How
Hi.
can I help you?
Hi there, are you, Gelrish?
Gelrish, yes, that's me.
Pleased to meet you. I'm Erlon Goldpetal.
Erlon, I've seen you around. Oh, that's way off with the accent there. I've seen you around.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I have a little bit of a dilemma. He holds up this hurdy-gurdy. This was my grandfather's. He was a sailor. He handed it down to me. I was told that by someone at the Bulbous Orange that you were familiar with the works of Gears. And he opens up the compartment to show Gelrish. This instrument means a whole lot to me and my family. I don't care about the price. Money's not an object to me. I would like this fixed. Or if you want some medicinal herbs, perhaps your joints are in pain, I have some tea, I can give it to you for free, as well as gold and silver.
All right. Gelrish puts up his hands. Let me see.
He hands him the hurdy-gurdy.
A hurty-gurty. Hurty-gurty. Shakes his little gnomish head a little bit. Because he's awesome. Kind of looks. He kind of looks at it, flips it around, clicks the release, and opens up and pulls it right out, and all the pieces of gear fall onto the table, and it goes tink, tink, tink. There's like 13 or 14 pieces of metal out there. He's like, ugh. Puts them both down. He looks inside, pulls out a gear and another gear, and you can see that there's just massive damage to these gears. Big chunks have been ripped off them, and some of them are a little bit rusted. And you can see him kind of glare at the rust on them and put them down. And he shakes his head and looks at you and says, "This is going to take some time. How much time do you have? I could have this ready by next quarter."
Next quarter.
But it'll take considerable cost of my time.
How much?
Oh, I would say put you in the realm of hours worked, about 25 to 30 gold.
This was a hurdy-gurdy that was taken from a wealthy one in the tailings. So it makes sense. Now, every quarter, I make about 15 gold. I'll need some more. If I leave this in your care and give you some tea and some gold up front, would you be able to work on it as long as I come back for the rest? I'll roll persuasion for that.
Sure. Roll persuasion.
Oh,
Not one.
Okay.
that's not good.
Well, I do like to help, but I do appreciate the funds in my pocket, so to speak. If you can't afford to pay, I can't afford the time to give you. But in lieu, I could sell you the gears. You could do the work yourself.
I should be able to do that. How much for the gears?
Well, the gears won't run you too much. Just one moment. He stands up and literally increases his height by like 4 inches. And then you kind of see him do the whole walk down the stairs. He goes down a little bit, comes down, goes a little bit more. He's wearing a pointy hat, and the pointy hat finally disappears, and it's like... And he comes around. He's probably up to your middle thigh. And
With
he
the
looks-
hat?
And, no, not with the hat. The hat goes up a little bit higher, but that'd be a little short.
He is a gnome after all. They're not tall.
Kind of looks up at you and he says, "Aye, follow me."
Thank you. He'll follow along. He was very grateful, like relieved, even if he didn't take the initial offer.
Okay. Roll perception.
15.
He says, "Mind your head." He points up. Just in time, you duck down as it goes down from from the entrance being over 6 feet for someone to get into down to 4 feet where you have to duck to get in. And as you go in there, you still have to duck because the ceiling doesn't go that high back here. He stops by one of the shelves and pulls something out. You can hear metal things bounce around, and he goes, "No, over here." Kind of bends down on one knee, right underneath, reaches his hands. No. Looks up here, pulls it out. No, puts his hands on his hips and says, Gail, where are you? Says, "I need the gears." And you hear a rustling, kind of something in behind the shelf, and where he reached his hand under before, another gnome, a smaller gnome, half the size of this one, kind of scurries out. not wearing a pointy hat, but covered in dust. And he comes out, and then he's pulling this little box behind him, and it's got all these gears in it. And as he lifts it up, and it kind of fumbles out of his hands, and they land all over the floor and start rolling everywhere. And he says, Gel, look what you've done. Go, get out of here right now.
Damn it, Gil.
And he looks at you and says, if you help me pick them up, I'll give you them for 2 silver.
He puts his hand up and he automatically intrinsically starts picking them all up. And he doesn't even let him finish half of his sentence. If you help me, he was going. He was going, picking them all up.
Oh, you're such a hard worker. He kind of giggles and says, it's 2 silver for the gears.
He hands over 4 and a pouch of tea.
Okay.
Thank you.
Smells it. I think my wife will enjoy this.
You should too. Try it in the morning. It takes about half an hour, 45 minutes to steep. And it'll help with any kind of joint pain you have, or if you just enjoy drinking tea.
I will. Thank you.
Perfect. So, with the gears in hand, he will make his way out and thank Gelrish one more time. And he is kind of he's just ecstatic and relieved. He gets back on his donkey, looking first to see if anything was messed with on his cart, because he's just paranoid.
Roll perception.
21.
Nothing has been touched.
Perfect. So he goes and gets on his donkey and on his cart, goes back to the bulbous orange, and he does a little screw it, a little performance. It's cocked. That's a 20. He does a pirouetted spin into like a drop into a low poo-boo stance to basically hold his hurdy-gurdy in hand like he was going to play it, but then he spins it back up, holds it like this, and just goes into a prayer bow, and he slings it across his back and smiles and walks into the bulbous orange.
It jingles and jangles as you sling it on the back as the gears inside the box. Okay. There are several people now. Now there's a bit more people in town. Some of the wagons have come back. That kind of stopped, and we're kind of like expecting something, and then we're let down and kept walking.
Tanith, witnessing this, be like, well, you can't say you didn't get their hopes up.
This is broken. I have to fix it.
Oh.
Hello, Tanith.
Good luck with that.
Appreciate it.
Whatever your name is.
Erlen.
Yeah, everyone. Right, I'll try to remember it, maybe.
He holds the door open for Tanith first.
Oh, I'm still sitting down.
Oh, you're still sitting down?
Before that, we're going to cut to Raven.
Sure.
Raven, you finish out the day. It was only about another 5 or 6 hours till the end of the day, but the fella comes in. He walks up to the desk. Alright, let me see what you got. Looks at it.
Just bought
Looks at the original. Are you looking for... Oh, wow, I almost went there. Are you looking for employment?
I was just looking for some extra money for today. I will consider it if I am in town for any length of time.
All right, this is good. Your performance was 21, I think. Yeah, like, boom. Yeah. He says, "This is it's a shame. This is good. All right. The next time you're in town, I'll have a different task for you. I'll have something on the books. Next time you're in town, come see me."
I will.
And he puts 4 silver on the table for you. Because you made serious progress on this particular. You made a whole bunch, like 50 or 60 copies. Yeah, it wasn't that complicated, but the work had to be done.
Yeah.
And you made a lot of grunt work done today with one person that could do it. So mark down 4 silver for the day. And then he shows you out and then shuts the door behind. So, until next time.
Likewise.
Oh, I don't think I got your name.
Ravim Bordes.
Mr. Bordes. Call me Terry.
Pleasure.
Terry at Scrolls and Slings. Okay, and you make your way back to the Bulbous Orange.
Yep.
Okay. So as you're heading back to the Bulbous Orange, Erlon, you're heading back, just getting to the door. Tanith, you're still hanging out. The sun is just starting to go down. It's casting long shadows over the town. It's beginning to get a lot more populated. People are coming back from the west gate there. Not much of a gate. The west entrance in the town, and filling out. And you can. I'll get everybody to roll perception. And from flight coming from
6.
20.
20.
16.
Okay.
I'm too busy enjoying the sunset.
That's right. And we have Erlon and Ravam. You guys both hear it. You can kind of hear it coming from across the street. You can hear someone say this, cuckoo, cuckoo. You can hear it just on the edge of hearing, but it's not. It doesn't really click in.
Sounds like a
Perhaps
bird. So, seeing Ravam approach, he squints at the noise and then opens his eyes, looks over at Ravam. Did you hear that?
I wasn't sure if it was me or something else, so apparently it wasn't just me. So yes, I did hear it.
Huh, not a funny feeling. As you with the 20 and the 16, as you guys get closer to or as you guys kind of meet up and look around, you can see across the way there's these 3 men kind of at the mouth of an alley, I guess, as an alley that you're going to find between 2 establishments here. Kind of laughing. One kind of hits one on the shoulder, and you can hear them laughing over the crowd. And the one in the middle kind of does it again. This time he puts his hands out and he says it real loud. Cuckoo! Cuckoo! And now you hear it that time. And you would...
My night.
It's... You really haven't come in contact with it a lot being here. You've only been in this particular continent for maybe a little over 2 months now. But... You hear it, and you can't see it because you're sitting on the bench, but you guys can see it, and you guys can see who's doing it. The guys behind him, both of them laugh.
Can we tell where they're sort of directing that to?
Very much so. They're directing it towards the Knights of Oros, Tanith, that you guys are familiar with.
So Erlon sees that they're kind of, I guess, poking fun inside, I guess?
Yeah. Roll that insight.
It's 14.
Yeah, they're making fun of him. You've heard a few of the guys in the bar talk before when you've been here quarterly for the past 10 years, right? A lot of the guys, a lot of the green defenders from the, or was it green? I think it had a different name, I think it's just another word for green, a different color or something, but I can't remember it right now. They're a very competitive group. And Knight of Oros is supposed to be one of the most efficient killers, the best warrior, the strongest fighter kind of thing. And he seems to be making fun at him. Yeah.
So Erlon squints at these 3 men. Are they drunk with that insight that I got, or are they just they're just asshats?
Just assholes.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's what it appears to be.
All right. He looks over to Tanith and he says, "Are you going to let them speak to you that way, or make fun of you like that?"
What way?
Tanith did. You don't notice yet. You heard it, but you're not really putting
I
two
heard
and two
someone
together.
saying something. I don't really know.
Look at them. They're calling out to you. They're making fun of you, Tanith. Dishonoring
Whoa.
the name of Oros.
Oh, that's not good.
And we have an instigator.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
Do I see the 3 chuckleheads in the alley?
Roll perception as you stand up. Yeah.
I guess now that I pointed them out.
Oh, that's a 12.
Yeah, easy enough to see them. Yeah, you see them. They're laughing as they as you stand up and look at them. They all 3 of them erupt into laughter, and the one in the middle is like kind of pointing at you.
I'll walk over there. If you got
Erlon,
something to say it to my face.
He walks. You want to roll intimidation or is?
Yes,
Okay.
I will roll intimidation. That's a 17.
Okay. So he kind of looks back at his buddy, looks at his other guy, and he walks up to you, and he looks you right in the face and he says, "Coo."
Soft 20 to hit.
Yeah, he's only wearing leathers right now. Yes, hit. You clock him.
Yeah, I'm gonna deck him right across his smug
It's
face.
5 points, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, you crack him right in the face. You catch him clear, and he kind of stumbles back into his buddies, and then he comes right back and tries to hit you again. But instead, he rolls terrible on his athletics. Tries to roll his athletics against his also. You could roll worse, you never know.
16.
Okay, so that's fine. He tries to get his arms around you and he kind of picks you up. He moves you just about 5 feet, and that's all he's...
I'm surprised he even got that far. I'm 6'8".
He's a fairly... Not
He's a
as big
beefy
as
boy.
you, but
Oh, he's a chunky lad.
yeah, he's... and you can kind of hear him kind of start growling almost.
Seeing this outburst and break into like a fight. So Erlon looks up at the skies and he says, "Sorry, Grenhilda. I didn't mean to do this." He rushes up with his quarterstaff and he tries to separate the both of them by just knocking the guy back. I guess I'll try to hit.
I'd say roll athletics. Yeah.
Oh no. 3.
Okay. So you're trying to get a place where he's got him right around. You're trying to get a place to wedge, but you just kind of
Not good enough.
you can't find any way to get any leverage to peel him off.
Gotcha. Alright. So,
Ravim, I'll give you an option to do something if you so choose. Everybody's got a turn so far.
I am. I'll let them duke it out, but I will stand nearby just in case things start getting out of hand.
Of course. All right. Ravim makes his intentions clear, staying close, and not really wanting to get in the middle of these two guys. But you can see him. You're trying to get in around them, and then we go back to you two. 10th, action's back on you.
19 to hit.
Yep, that's a hit.
Elbow right in the neck joint there.
Okay, you catch him with the elbow. Catch him, you can hear him. Ah! And then it's his turn. as he's...
He's taking 10 points of damage. He's a chunky boy.
Okay, I need an athletics check from you.
19 again.
19. Okay, this time he seems to have an increased amount of strength as he lifts you up and he runs across the street and he drops you into the trough of where the horses drink their water. It splashes and it breaks and you land prone. And he stands up and you can kind of see puts his hands up in the air and he kind of goes, "Yeah! Yeah, you see? That's what a Knight of Oros is. Nothing." And he looks back down at his buddies and he's like, "Yeah!" And they start laughing and carrying on. You take 4 bludgeoning damage as you fall from the thrust down in there. You can see his eyes are kind of bloodshot and veins in his arms are really thick and pumping right now.
Seeing this happen, he tried to catch him as he went to see if he could sweep him off his feet, but he missed, so he tried. Erlon goes up, and as he turns around trying to gloat, he's going to try to just smack him in the ear with his quarterstaff to disorient him. That is a 20 to hit.
Okay, as you're coming down to hit him, your quarterstaff seizes in place as a hand comes down and grabs onto it and says, "Let it be." You look behind you and it's this grizzled man in gray hair and these kind of pale, kind of lost blue eyes as he's just holding your quarterstaff in his one hand and just says, "Let it be, Erlon." You know him, he's the local magistrate.
Okay. And he wasn't with those 3 guys.
Nope, he seemed to just walk kind of up on everything.
Okay. He, seeing his strike got stopped, he retreats his quarterstaff and places it on the ground, hand over hand. I was trying to stop the violence by disorienting him.
Don't worry. There's a lesson to be learned here. Ravim, you see that? Pass the turn.
Yep.
Okay. Tanith, you're prone. Your cloak is soaking wet. Your pants are wet. You are surrounded, I'd say, by horses and this rather large man that's just rippling in muscles from his shoulders down, tearing into the air.
I will use half my movement to get up.
Of course, he hasn't moved away. He is right there.
And okay. He's taking 2 of my punches. He's a chunky boy. So, if I do that, 23 to hit
23 hits.
with my maul.
Oh, okay.
That escalated quickly.
For 2d6 plus 4. Oh.
no.
6, that's 9, 13 points of bludgeoning damage. You'll see Tanner gets up, unslings a giant dragon-headed maul, and just slugs the guy square in the chest with it.
Okay, so he takes the hit. He goes back 2 steps.
I will kill this man.
Or die trying.
You hear to your right-hand side, you hear, "Sling that weapon, soldier."
I will put it to a low guard, but I'm still on edge.
Okay, he looks at you
I'm
and
gonna switch flip. It's fight time.
he puts his hand on his longsword and he says, "Sling your weapon." Oh, let's try to have there was a little bit of a Irish lisp on that. I don't want to be careful for that.
Hey, he's from the area. He's from the area. Sling them all.
Okay, and as you sling them all, the guy that you hit in the chest kind of gets his anger back, and he is also equipped with a weapon, but he has this club. It's just this long, wooden, solid club, similar to a baseball bat, but think just
Big.
3 times wider, but not as long. Just this massive piece of chiseled wood.
I'm reading cricket bat.
Yeah, except more cylindrical. Yeah. So,
A round cricket bat.
And he raises it high and takes a step forward, and the sword from the other guy comes out and points right at his neck, and he says, "Rourke, you don't want to do this." And Rourke kind of stops. His chin goes up, and he kind of looks over at him, and then he looks over at you, and he's just kind of glares. His eyes go tight, and you can see he takes a breath, and he kind of lets the rage fade, and he puts his weapon down.
Caroline puts his quarterstaff on his back in the holster. Grenhilda will be glad that there is no more violence for now.
Oros would disagree.
I'm sure he would.
The barbarian in front of you kind of smirks at what you say and says, "Grenhilda be damned," and he kind of thrusts and turns around and walks away. And as he's walking by his 2 fellas, he kind of pushes them both and ahead of him, and they kind of start walking down the road.
And he calls out, "As will you."
Above game, quick question. What level was he?
He was just a first level barbarian.
I hit him for 23 points.
After the first hit, he began to rage. Half damage.
Yeah,
So you did 5 right off the bat. I knew you were going to get the first attack. So then as soon as there was 2. Then it was close. It was 6 points, brought him to 13 out of his 14 hit points. So that you got him. It was just.
He's probably got some broken ribs. He's gonna feel that in the morning. Actually, conveniently timed, I can unveil my new mini.
Hey,
It's
alright.
unpainted, but since you'll see that you guys can clearly see that Tanith has a dragon-headed maul and a glaive. I found the perfect mini set.
Nice.
It's a spear and a maul.
I
Close
take
enough.
it, you don't mind if I put this up on
sure.
Instagram, eh?
Yeah.
Alright.
He's painting
This is
silver.
Tanith. We'll get him when he's painted. Good. Thank you.
And now I can open it.
Okay. So, he walks off. The magistrate that you know that Erelon.
Pointy ear boy.
You know him as Neldrin.
Neldrin.
He puts his sword back in his sheath, and he turns to you, Tanith, and he says, "Perhaps you and your friends should leave a little early." And he walks off.
Take it under advisement.
Neldrin. I still have the night at the Bulbous Orange. Am I still welcome to stay?
Erelon, why wouldn't you be welcome to stay?
Because of what you said. I was merely worried.
Don't worry. You're welcome here, of course.
Much appreciated. Did Rourke say anything, by the way, to what I said back to him? Like he said, Grenhilda be damned, and I said, as will you.
No, he didn't. So, the crowd begins to dissipate somewhat from the slight increase of people just stopping and like, ooh, a lot of excitement tonight. Yeah, exactly, right? Big festival, now there's a fight, barroom brawl. So you guys are there, all of you outside the Bulbous Orange. Yeah. You are soaking wet, Tanith. The water's kind of a little bit slimy. It's been there most of the day. It's got that horse slime to the water.
Basically half horse drool at this point.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go inside and sit by the fire.
Okay.
Take off my cloak.
All right.
Hang up dry there.
It's about as busy as it was this morning. Different kind of crowd, though. It seems to be a little louder than this morning. A lot of I suppose that would be the but nobody kind of in workers' garb. People that have gone home, maybe showered, maybe bathed, and come out for the evening, kind of deal. Maybe, yeah. So you see, there's people. Sorry, there's people eating. There's people drinking, and appear to be keeping their business to themselves to those particular tables. And you see barmaids running back and forth. The fire is on, blaring, but it's still fairly warm outside, so it's considerably warmer in here. But it's still nice. It smells good. It's this nice, sweet smell from the wood that they're burning.
Cherry.
Erlon will come in with his hurdy-gurdy and the little kit of little included repair tools that his grandfather gave him. And
I'm going to give you a rough number. I'm going to make this hurdy-gurdy really intricate and say there are 12 broken gears.
And I got the 12 replacements, or did I get extra?
You've got extras, you're not quite sure. They fell on the ground, so here's a box of gears. Yeah. You definitely have more than you need. Maybe not all that you need, but you definitely got some work to do.
Right. He'll just start working at it, and he finds a place near the fire, so he has good light.
Okay.
And that
There's two main tables. One of them is pretty full. The other one has only a dragonborn sitting at it.
Okay, he'll sit by the near the dragonborn.
Okay.
If he allows him.
Did you guys introduce yourselves yet? I'm not sure.
I did to him, and I did to him.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. So now, since this is
Tannis is uncertain whether or not he's going to choose to remember the elf's name.
okay. So, Erlon, you sit down at the table by or near Kenneth.
Yep.
Raven.
I will see if there's still a room available, assuming I haven't arranged one earlier in the day.
Right. I would say you could have if you wanted to. There's not going to be an issue of finding a room. There's plenty of inns in this particular place. This was more of one of the higher end inns.
Yeah.
So it'll be about 3 silver a night.
He would slip Gren a silver.
Gren. Thank you.
Yeah, he would slip Gren a 1 silver just to take down the price for Raven's room. So he only has to pay 2.
Okay, so Gren, you asked for the room. Gren approaches, says, it's 3 silver for the room for the evening. Meals are included.
I'll pull out my 3 silver and...
You're over at the table right now.
Yep.
You see Raven go up.
Gren! He holds up a silver coin and throws it towards him. Or just gently, just enough to... I mean, he's a monk. He's fairly...
Ping, ting, 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 ting. Kind of spreads his legs, kind of... You see him kind of... He disappears over behind the thing and he picks it up and he says, "Aye.
Make it 2 for him. He's with me. Well, on his own, but with me."
He passes you back the silver he picked up off the ground.
I take it, his silver and hand him the 3.
Says and then passes you a key.
What you watch?
The key has a little metal disc connected to it, and it says number 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are there. The maid comes by with an empty tray and says, "What will you be having tonight?"
Meat. Please.
Food will be around shortly. Something to wet the whistle, perhaps.
The darkest ale you have.
Very well.
Do you have any, what do you have for vegetables tonight? I know I delivered some turnips and beets and carrots earlier, but...
Erlon, the finest of what you've been put is put in the cook for tonight.
Very good. I'll only have vegetables, thank you very much.
Of course, of course. And,
Some more wine for myself with
do
dinner.
you join them?
Yeah.
Okay, so as you coming up, she's taking orders. And yourself?
Some more wine and a chef special.
Very well. She walks away. A few moments later, she comes back with a few drinks. She brings you this large wooden container of, you can't even see the side of the glass when you're looking through down on it. It kind of slops. It has this kind of thick kind of slop to it. She leans over to you and said, "It'll just be a few moments for yours." And she then, at that point, she has 3 plates on her on her tray, and she puts them down in front of you. Yours is generally meat. There's the odd potato or carrot that is in it, but she seemed to be picked the most of the meat out for you. And yours is all vegetables. And yours is a mix of both.
Erevon's a hippie, you know.
Yeah.
Grenhilda, he's a vegetarian.
Of course.
Yep.
So that's in this carved wooden bowl, about yay big. It's a 2-handed bowl. It's filled fairly large. And she comes back with a basket and puts it on the table of this yellow square-shaped bread, and has this smell of sweet corn and honey. It seems to be glazed with honey.
Grab a big chunk of that bread and take a bite and start eating.
You take a big chunk of the bread and immediately, it's starting to gum up in your mouth immediately.
Which,
But it's delicious.
Erelon just kind of keeps working on his hurdy-gurdy, kind of splayed out on the table with a cloth to wipe off any oil that accumulates, and like his hands are pristine despite the fact he's working on a clockwork machine. Basically,
You would notice that. That's one thing it does need is some oil.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. So are you doing the whole mending thing, finding the pieces for the gears and mending, or?
He's trying to manually put them back in place for the time being, just to
So-
make sure they all match. And then if anything's broken, he'll mend that.
Okay, do you have a tool kit or anything, or are you just doing it? What do you got?
His grandfather gave him like a kit to specifically deal with this hurdy-gurdy that came with it.
Okay.
So I guess it'd be like a...
Dedicated tinker's tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
repair
Okay.
kit pretty well.
Yeah, basically a specific repair kit for that. Sounds good. That's cool. So roll. I'll get you to roll sleight of hand because it's
With advantage?
no, not yet. Just regular.
7.
7. Okay, you're able to pull out some gears, the ones you've identified as the most broken ones, and some bent ones you're able to kind of fix just on the fly. Maybe not, but right now you've kind of pulled out all the broken gears and have all the pieces that you need to fix.
Okay.
So you have everything you kind of see what you're looking at now. You see that there's clearly, from what you have here, there's 12 broken gears and 13 or 14 broken pieces.
Okay.
So now you got everything out on the table, on the cloth.
He basically just plays match with the gears that he bought from Gelrish. He just kind of plays match with them, makes sure that they're both the same size.
So I'll get you to roll investigation as well.
That's 12.
12. All right. The gears are still pretty bent up, and some of them are the metal seems to be torn rather than broken, like there was a lot of strain, and that you're able to match up 2 of them. Close enough. You think you got the right piece, but that's your food's now cold, however, and yeah. But hey, you made some progress. Yeah.
Yep. He's fine with eating it cold.
Okay. Yeah, I can't imagine. He'd probably pull it right out of the ground and eat it.
Yeah, basically. Living on a farm for 10 years when bordering on squalor compared to what he was. But, yeah, no, he's perfectly content.
Okay. So, you guys at the table, you see Erelon. His equipment is all on the table, taken apart. The meal's great. The dark beer Goes down very nice.
As it should. I'll get another one.
Shortly into that, she does bring your wine over and puts it on the table. Apologizes for the wait.
No trouble.
Before she goes back, since he would provide the tea to them, I would assume he'd get it for free, because he's the maker and everything like that. Would you put a pot on for me there, please?
Of course I can.
Thank you very much.
She walks off and into the back.
You'll have a 2 silver tip for her when she comes back.
Big tip.
Yep, generous. He's fine with
Big
that.
tip. Okay. No wonder you're well liked, and your attitude is well accepted. He tips well.
They forgive a lot of things for tips that day.
All right.
What's that? You're tipping $100? Yeah, sure. We'll overlook your poor attitude.
Don't worry about the chair. It's okay. It's all right. All right. Yeah. Okay. So you guys are fed. You guys have some drinks. You're kind of wrapping up your stuff now, as you kind of got to the point where too many gears right now. Yeah.
Yep.
But you made some progress. You designate things. You kind of put them away and separate them so they don't get mixed up again.
Yep.
When you're doing that, Ornell comes down and sits next to Tanith. He says, "We've got a few recruits." No, he's the Irish accent. We've got a few recruits. Looks like they want us out of here sooner rather than later.
Can't imagine why.
Ah,
Complete mystery of the world.
Recruits. Erlon looks up from his work because he hasn't necessarily packed everything up. He's still looking everything over, even though he's not imbibing on any alcohol. He only needs 4 hours of rest every day, so he doesn't really mind. He just at least looking everything over, kind of piecing things together, and he's still only made that much progress. But he just nods up and he says, "Recruits, what's going on?" He hasn't clued in.
interested in a trip overseas, are you?
Trip overseas. So long as my card and a note could be delivered back to my family, absolutely.
Well, that's your responsibility. But we're offering on the sign over there.
Read the sign before you make any decisions that might be considered rash.
And this coming from a Knight of Oros, interesting.
A year's salary. Hold on. A full year's salary
Full year's salary.
for 2 months' work. Travel over the water, through the lower shears, to the mountains, and from there, you take your leave. You make 50 gold.
So it's a one-way trip, was it?
One way.
If I pay postage for a note to return to my family, would it, I could go along? That could be fine.
Like I said, read the posting first before you make a rash decision.
Grenhilda provides for my fate. If I die, I die.
Oh boy. One of these ones. Great. Logically, at this point, I would have seen some interesting characters get.
You would have seen a lot of new people come and go. There's a high death rate.
Yeah. On the bright side, this should be the easy way.
Easiest of the way.
Yeah. You're lucky though. The hard part's over.
What was the hard part?
We went with 30. We came out with 10.
Where?
The wilds.
We're going into the wilds.
No, we're coming back from the wilds.
Coming back.
Ain't be going there anytime soon again, I don't think.
God.
Kind of takes a big drink and puts it down. Looks at the bottom of his cup for a minute or two.
Erlon eyes the poster. Is there any specific destination that it states?
To the lower shears and then into the mountains.
Never been to the lower shears. I suppose my father and my grandfather before him, specifically my grandfather, always told me to be worldly. I would do it simply for the experience of going, and I've sold what I needed to sell. Like I said, as long as I get postage back to my family letting them know that I'm gone, I'll go.
Okay. There are plenty of ways to send mail.
Indeed.
None of them are a problem.
Indeed. So,
Well, if you're interested, you have to see Dermot. He's bedded down for the night. You can see him in the morning.
very good.
See the dwarf you were with?
I'm the dwarf I was with.
Sorry.
He's a human. A human, a dwarf, and a dragonborn walking to a bar.
The other one was, he was a half-elf, yeah.
I thought this was that.
No, this is
No,
this
the
is
guy with the one leg is the dwarf.
Yeah, no, I thought you were saying that the one with the eyes. Yeah, I'm getting them confused.
Yeah, sorry. Now the one, the half-elf, still really working on it hard, but it's hard to come from an Irish into a South African accent. And I've been doing good in the South African accent when I practice it, but when it's going from interchanging them from different, it's a lot harder than I anticipated.
Yeah.
What are you doing with these pros?
See, that's what it's
If you want a South African accent, go watch District 9 a couple of times.
I've thought
Good
that.
movie.
Yeah, it's there's a few movies I've been watching, a few things online too, but there's knowing it and there's putting it into practice. I imagine by episode 650, I'll have it done. No problem. It's no
He
problem.
might be there.
You know,
the last time we heard
But we might be
Yeah,
there.
the 40,000 hours of DMing, I might have it after that part.
Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah, so he tells you that Dermot's bedded down for the night, and he'll be up again in the morning.
He says in Dwarvish, "Thank you, I appreciate it." And this coming from a high elf, it kind of might throw him off a little bit.
Yeah, it's just he didn't expect it. He's kind of doesn't have anything to say, just kind of a open mouth nod.
And the day keeps getting stranger.
Yeah.
He's strange, this one, huh?
So that being said, are you interested?
Of course.
I guess so.
All right.
Might be a useful experience, and
Kind of looks over at the both of you. I'm sure there's something you can do.
There's a term I'm thinking of. Meat shield.
isn't that your role?
No.
Ornell starts to laugh.
My job is to kill things.
I think we need another round. He
Yes.
raises his hand. Over here, dear. Over here. So, you guys eat, drink, not so much the drinking. There are snacks that go around, other things, more drinking. It does get a little bit lively, but it's not a somber crowd, but I'd say a more
There's no
more-
bars to liven it up.
yeah, no bars right now. And even if there were a bar, it would be, you would expect a very nice flute symphony going on. Maybe not a symphony, just a flute in the background. Nothing. This isn't
Something
to be
a
a
little more
wild
mellow.
place. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
lute and a flute.
exactly. But there is not currently anybody on.
Tanful, after his third mug of the really good dark ale, he'll often enough pull out a cigar.
Okay.
Right from the tailings. Assuming they grow tobacco up there.
I think that's probably the place to get it. Yeah.
It's like Cuba.
The Gren comes over and says, "There's no smoke." No, I'm joking.
Dex save.
So that's pretty much the evening, guys. Nothing else happens out of the ordinary. You had a bit of the altercation with the barbarian for that. So end of the night comes around. If you guys wanted to discuss anything, or I would go to bed and start the next day.
Erlon goes out, checks on his cart, sees if anything's been tampered with or messed with.
It has not been tampered with. Everything seems to be in order.
Gotcha. Perfect. He goes back in and he starts writing a note to his family, stating, like, if I die, here's the rest of the gold for the quarter, and this is sent along with the let the burden of beast or whatever, burden of whatever. So
The beast of burden.
beast of burden,
You're a donkey.
Bob's.
We'll call him Irish.
and he, prepares to give the ledger and everything to the deliveryman, and he gives them the transport the next day, whenever that comes about, and then he'll leave his fate in the hands of Oros, I suppose, in this case.
Okay, and you drop it off to the local errands guy. And he kind of looks at you funny. He says, "Where are you going, Erlon? Where are you going?"
I'm going across the seas to the lower shears in search of wealth. And I'm going to put the skills that I was taught as a younger to use.
Fancy one too. I think that's gonna break though.
No, that's hematite. That's half metal.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm going across the seas to the lower shears, and I don't know if I'll return or not because it seems to be a dangerous line of work, but Grenhilda provided I should return, hopefully, in one piece. And this note should sate my family's concerns should anything come about. I'm sure that my sister... Thea should be able to take over in my stead as the eldest sibling in the family, should anything happen to me.
Okay. Just gonna keep an eye out for that firecracker when you leave. You know? That's the only thing I'm worried about.
I'm sure fate will pan out, even if I'm not to return.
Well, I wish you well on your trip. You know, you're always welcome back here in Delron. And I'll make sure I get your stuff there tomorrow.
I'll bring a souvenir back if I deign it available, if it is possible.
Okay, thank you. All right. Well, he kind of watches you as you walk away, and it's kind of back to his business. You know, looks around. Okay, puts your stuff in where he keeps the wagon stored, and there it is.
Yep.
All right, so you guys all have rooms in the Bulbous Orange, and you guys head back to them, sleep for the night.
Yep.
As usual, my bed is a little bit too short, but not too bad this time.
Yes. All right. Eventually, night takes you all. Being the elf as well, you only require the 4 hours to have that rest, but you still have you can still sleep. Sleeping is still one of those things that go along with living.
Downtime.
Yep.
Yeah, downtime. So you still need to spend that time kind of doing something. So just you don't have to be specific all the time. Just keep that.
Hurdy-gurdy maintenance.
Yeah, just keep that in mind, kind of thing. So if you want to like read or something.
Yep.
Yeah, but
It's also one of those things that it states that they don't have to sleep,
yeah.
but it doesn't say that that's how they normally go. It could just be something that they can get by with in
Yeah,
some
exactly.
of the more
That's how I feel about it. It's a thing that they can manage it for a fair
short
amount
period
of
of
time,
time.
but eventually it's going to catch up to you. You're going to need to sleep.
Yeah, especially as a monastic tradition, it's as a training method. I'm assuming, it's one of those things that Erewhon might have been taught to just, rely on meditation, deep meditation, in order to replenish one's stamina and ability to function as just a being overall, as opposed to sleeping for extended periods of time.
As he kills a fly.
Yeah.
Grinhelda.
You're becoming a follower of Boros already.
Above game. Above game.
I like how it started off as, he's a pacifist, and then,
Grenelda in-game.
take that from him.
Grenelda in-game. Boros out of game.
Passionate pacifist.
Oh man.
I'm aggressively passive.
So,
I'm being
Tanith,
aggressively neutral.
In the middle of the night, you're rolling about. You wake up. You're in cold dragon sweat.
This is getting really clammy.
You're really clammy. Okay, you kind of got the chills. You wake up. You sit up in bed. Memories of the wild, of a particular close call where one of the shadows reached out from behind the tree, and it felt and looked so real. You could see the claws only for a moment, and it kind of took you in the shoulder, but it missed you for the most part. And you wake up in the darkness of the
Then I
room.
get other flashbacks.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So you may not notice, but he has a prosthetic arm.
Do you
What?
sleep with your arm on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just
And then-
it makes getting ready in the morning so much easier.
I guess so, eh? But eventually you do catch sleep and fall back to sleep for the night. The morning comes around. The smell of breakfast again begins to leak into the bedrooms the be-in rooms that you guys have, and you guys can wake up at your leisure and venture downstairs.
Ah, breakfast. Don my gear and head down.
Okay. You guys?
I'll go down.
Yeah, Erlon will stay up in his room. He has some rations, stuff like that, to just allow himself to be fed.
Okay.
Nothing really particular.
So, roll perception.
Perception?
Yeah.
Okay, he's still in the room.
Yep.
Is 13.
Okay, so you hear rather large footsteps go by your door and then dissipate into the distance. And you break out your rations and begin to eat. Downstairs, it's the same spread as the morning before: the eggs, the bacon, the roasted potatoes, and similar things to that. It seems to be a little more full in here today. You can actually see a few of the Vistani from the festival here sitting at the table, enjoying the breakfast. And but there is a room to sit. You can see that Tanith is already sitting at a table with Ornal and Dermot over by the fire. And as you walk down the stairs, Gren kind of gives you a nod from the counter.
I'll give it a nod, and I'll go over to the three soldiers and introduce myself to the third member of the group.
He seems to be not busy with anything this time. He's sitting there with his hands crossed on the table, and he looks up at you. Rav, am I here?
Yes.
Are you gonna eat that bacon? Ooh, above game, quick question.
Yeah.
How tall is Stumpy? I'm gonna keep calling him that.
He's a
'Cause I know he's a
dwarf,
dwarf.
so put him at 4.5 feet. I think
Oh.
that's he's a stumpy.
Yeah, 4.5, 5 feet.
Yeah.
How you doing down there?
Yeah, pretty much. It's a down. Yeah.
It's a little look down at
It's,
him. Even sitting down.
like Schwarzenegger and DeVito. Kind of deal.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I imagine things. And it's nice to see he's taking his nickname in stride.
So, Ornell tells me you're looking for work, huh? Make a lot of money, huh? 50 gold?
More looking for the experience, but yes, some nice wages is also useful.
Experience, yeah? That'll help, yeah. Right, okay. We're leaving soon. Do you get everything you need?
I still have to gather my things from upstairs, but for the most part, it shouldn't take too long to be ready for departure.
Good. Hey, he pulls his cloak open, pulls his slim scroll. He says, "You're gonna have to sign your name on here, right here, on the scroll." So it says you're working for the Knights of Oros.
I'll give it a good read.
Of course. Pretty basic. It's nothing gonna catch you in the end. It says you have the right to room and board, food, things of that nature. All the amenities is traveling as a
Basic terms and conditions and a release of any liability. should you come to a horrible
Yeah,
demise.
they can also terminate the contract if you are considered that you're no longer
Unfit for work.
unfit for work, exactly, with the minimum of repayment of duties that have been served.
Okay.
Other than that, seems pretty straightforward. Simple, not simple mercenary work. You don't know, but simple enough paperwork for mercenary work.
Yeah.
Considering
Nothing
there's
that really
there's actually
stands.
paperwork for this mercenary work,
Yeah.
which says a lot.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
But there's no hidden terms and conditions that I
Nope.
can see. Yeah.
Don't cast detect magic.
Do not look in the box.
No, there's a line. There's a section blacked out here. What does that mean?
Are you at home?
Would Erlon have made any progress at all?
On the machine,
Yep.
roll investigation.
20.
20. Yeah, you're able to match another 3 pieces up with metal fragments over the night.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. And yeah, so you're reading through it there. Ornell and Dermot are making small talk about people they've recruited so far. You can hear them talk. They've we're back up to 22. That should make us back across the sea in one piece. Back up the mountain again.
I'd like at least 3 more just to be safe. Like, I know it's the easy way back, but considering what happened,
Well, if wishes were sand. If wishes were sand.
we'd have a lot of glass.
So, you read over it, sign it.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything up and up and up, right?
From what I can tell, yes.
All right. Yeah. Pass it back to him.
Yeah.
Okay, he takes it back. He opens it, views it. Good. Scoops it up, puts it back. Make that 23. Just destroying the accent here. It's quick. It's quick. It's
He
hard.
talks
it's
too
pointy.
quickly. He's like he's from New York.
Yeah.
He just rapid fire, boom, 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 boom,
Yeah,
boom.
that's
and
what it's supposed
you can't
to be.
really tell if he has an accent.
Yeah.
He's just speaking so quickly.
That's the other hack I've read about it. It's just yeah. So you guys, food is served again. The maids bring one of you guys if you guys have not gotten it, but you have time to eat and have a drink. About an hour goes by. Erlon, do you head down?
Yeah, he'll head down,
Okay.
and he will, if he's offered that scroll, he'll mull it over.
You approach the table.
Yeah, he'll approach the table.
Okay. And you see Ornell kind of nudge Dermot, and Dermot kind of looks up and leans over to, oh, what's his name? Erlon.
Yes,
I heard you're interested.
I am. Yes, indeed.
You understand? It's a big trip.
I'm well aware. Yes, I know. I've ventured the seas before on a trip from Krell to here. It's not exactly the same, I'm assuming, but a trip to the lower shears will make me more worldly if I don't
Yeah.
die.
Worldly it will. It most certainly will. I have been to Krell myself. You don't look like the type, though. I'm concerned.
Concerned about what? Me dying?
You do have a family.
They will understand if I do not return. I've
Very well.
sent postage to them.
All right. You pass you the scroll. Okay.
Signs his name.
Did you happen to read it? I just want to. I just want to know the way you motioned it. There was just open and a sign. Did you read it?
He'll read it.
Okay, you're
He'll
right.
read
Okay.
it over, yeah.
So you realize it's on the up and up. It's there's nothing hidden, nothing like that. Maybe you pass it back to him.
Yep.
Oh, very well. All right. Maybe we should shove off then.
That's
Yeah.
all right.
He
will
looks.
say this one seems to have some measure of skill with a quarterstaff.
Good.
During the incident yesterday, he attempted to intervene, but was stopped by the magistrate.
Yeah, I'm aware of the incident.
Yeah.
There's an awkward pause after that, as Tanth kind of resets himself on the chair. And he says, "Right, we should go then. Get the wagons ready. I'll settle the bill up with Gren. I'll meet you out there."
Right. Let's go, boys.
Grenhilda, preserve us.
I say, I'll gather my things and meet you outside. I'll go out, gather my things, return the key, and go fetch my horse.
Okay, sounds good. You head up there. You come down. Dermot is at the is paying Gren for the rooms and board that he has taken for his particular rooms he needed, and he says to Gren, "Until next time, Gren. I'll see you." Gives him a nod, and they shake hands and they part ways. Yep, Gren takes your key back. Wish you well on your journey.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll return someday.
We'll see you. We'll see you if you'll see you. And you guys head outside.
He bows a farewell to Gren and anybody else there that he recognizes.
Okay,
And
people are passing by and stuff like that, kind of looking at you, gearing up with these guys, and then.
Hey, thanks for sticking with us for so long. If you would like to go to the washroom or get a drink or perhaps some snacks, I suggest pausing now because we're going back to the action.
It's still pretty early in the morning. It's about 7. You guys got an early start. Maybe about 7:30. You guys are out. You got the wagon ready. Dermot comes out. Then Ravum is the last to join, or not the last sort of you guys at the table to join the party. They wait. They wait a bit. A few of the recruits that went in with you, only half have came back. Perhaps the other just kind of we're done. Time to go. They collected what they wanted and that's it. Excuse me. And there seems to be quite a few new recruits from the area. They seem to be mostly stronger farm hands that want to get out from the whole farming game. And it's pretty much your group. You have a group of 23.
Smattering species, or just like mostly humans?
You guys are the only odd ones out, really. It's except for Dermot, who's a half-elf. Most of them are human from the area. There's the dwarf, Ornell, the dragonborn Tanith, and Vistani's human. But you dress like a Vistani? That's a big question.
Not really.
Okay, so Vistanis normally dress in
Bright.
bright colors. Maybe not like a clown, but they're flare.
Gypsies.
Yeah, they're dressed like gypsies. You'd see like 15 petticoats, all different colors. You know, all that kind of thing.
Why must you wear all your clothes at the same time?
Not so flashy.
Only one pair of pants.
Try to blend in with the crowd.
Of course.
Overrated.
So you guys are gathering your stuff up. Dermot gets on the wagon. Now it's a fairly large wagon. It's being carried by 4 large, heavy horses, like Clydesdales kind of deal.
Draft horses.
Draft horses. Bingo. Exactly. That's the word I'm looking for. And there's final checks going on in the wagon, and Tanith, you feel a stone peck off the back of your armor, or the back of your cloak. You hear it hit the ground. You hear
The douchebag again.
You hear about, did you turn around?
I look over my shoulder.
You look over your shoulder. Behind you, there's a group of 6 children. There's one in the middle that has his hand just drawing back from the throw that he just threw a rock at you. And they're all kind of laughing, and then all of them in unison, all of them kind of start walking around in a circle and waving their arms, and they keep saying, and they're repeating, cuckoo, 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 all over there across the street, all in a circle, and they're doing it, and they're doing it. It gets a bit of a look from passersby, yourself, people from the wagon. Ornell kind of stumbles over on his leg, and he says, Amra, bless their heart, they don't know fear. Wait till they see 100,000 of us yelling and screaming the same words that they think are funny. Wait and see when they shit their pants when they see that.
I do not raise a hand to children, for they do not know better. Were they of age, would be a different story.
You guys kind of look at each other and just nod and then get back to work. They eventually dissipate, but the wagon gets together. There is room inside the covered wagon. It's inside it, and on the wagon, or the off track, on the front of the wagon, the seat. There's 2 seats there, and room inside the wagon itself. It's a pretty rough space. It's just a flat transport wagon, so you're either sitting or walking beside the wagon. It's not the most comfortable.
Well, Erlon will make the best of what he's got and take as little space as he can, as he's probably slimmer than the rest of them, who are probably donning armor.
Not so much. You see a lot of leathers. A lot of leather. Not a lot of metal. These seem to be the low end of people who are capable of doing this.
Yeah.
Good with the shovel, you know, fighting off the wolf from time to time with a pitchfork, but that's what you're kind of looking at. You know some of them too. I mean, some of these are children of farmers that you're familiar with, people that you buy from.
Yep. Nope. Erlon doesn't really say too much. He just kind of closes his eyes and lets his mind kind of drift into the realms of meditation as far as he can, at least while he's kind of, even though he's slim, without any armor on, just clothes, because he's monk, but no, he just kind of lets himself kind of fade into meditation, unless he's asked a question or pointed out.
Alright, you guys, are you on your horse, I imagine?
Yeah.
You're outside on your horse. Tanith, where are you?
Sitting up front of the wagon.
Okay, sounds good.
Dermot driving, did you say? Or?
I'd say Ornell's driving. Dermot would be in the back, sitting on a... Oh, Dermot has his own horse. I didn't see
Dermot
much
probably
as a
have his own
rider,
horse.
but considering his position, he probably would. Yeah, he'd be on a horse as well. So Dornell and Tanith driving, everybody else in the back. We have Ravim on horse and Dermot on horse as well. Okay. So now that you're inside the wagon, Erlon, get your roll perception.
22.
22, okay, so what you're looking at here is... Hold on a second, I got something upstairs I forgot to bring.
Uh-oh. That bodes well.
Mahogany.
Just 2x4. Mahogany 2x4.
Yeah. My dad used to work in Nigeria for an oil company.
Was he a Nigerian prince?
No,
So that's where I've been getting all those damn emails.
no. But You know how in swamps they'll cut down trees and make log roads out of it? They did that with mahogany trees.
Yeah, because they don't.
Because that's what grows in their forest. And they have, it's not special.
There's
to
a
them.
small creature.
Yeah, he said seeing that almost made him cry the first time.
Yeah. Especially when mahogany so dense it doesn't float.
Okay, there we go. You see about 16 logs, about 10 to 13 inches in diameter, bundled together in the middle, lashed down to the wagon itself. All right, there we go.
That's what I saw with the perception of 22.
Yep, they look like logs.
Just logs.
Just logs. They're not glowing, they don't have any sparks coming off them, they just look like regular old logs. You also see the other members of the mercenary band. You notice Eric, who's the son of Marcus and Maven. He decided to come along on this adventure as well.
Okay. Wouldn't figure what those logs were used for, anything like that.
Roll insight. I don't know if they...
It's 20.
20? Oh, you put two and two together. These guys are talking about the wilds. They have 16 lengths of wood in a wagon that could hold 4 times that amount. Probably got it from the wilds.
Okay. So this wood looks... It doesn't have anything particularly special looking about it.
Not with regular eyes, no. Just with the
like
naked
wood.
eye. Yeah, it just looks like regular wood. It smells... kind of smells slightly of rot. Just on the edge. Just on the edge of rot, but it's just this... You can smell it with the 20, especially your familiarity with bad smells on a farm and rot and things. This is the limits of decay, almost, but it doesn't look like it's decaying. You can just smell that on the edge, though.
What's
But
that
at
wood
night
for?
it smells like pine and that kind of rich smell. Sorry.
He looks over to one of the carriage drivers that's working because he's at the rear of his cart.
Yep.
So he looks over to the one behind him. I suppose that's one of the ones that's carrying some of the logs, or if they're even on a cart.
No, they're just lashed to the ground
Oh, okay.
in the wagon. It's imagine a transport truck wagon with 16 lengths of logs on it that are lashed to the middle. When all the mercenaries are kind of sitting around it.
Okay. He looks over to one of the mercenaries and he says, "What's the wood for?"
It's woods from the wild. They went in, from what they said, and they chopped them down and they brought them out. Cost them 20 men.
I see. Why does it smell of rot?
I smell that too. That's as it comes from the wilds of Delron. They say the wood is corrupt. Say it's the same wood that fight back and kill you. And you're taking it out of here. It's dangerous.
Is it to be burned or used?
I make weapons from it and armor. Our king wears a breastplate of this. Nobody's pierced it in decades.
I see. Thank you. He nods to the mercenary and resumes his meditation.
Your perception. Roll your perception again now, though. This thing's slightly changing for one particular thing.
20.
20. Yeah, you finish the conversation, kind of look up at the wood again, and Dermot's eyes are all locked on you.
He locks eyes back with him and waves, and then looks back down, unless he calls him out.
No, he just lets it. He lets you break eye contact first.
Was he looking at him and like to intimidate him?
Just roll insight.
No, I don't know.
No, hey, he's just looking at you hard though.
Rolled a 5.
Okay. You don't feel intimidated though, or anything of that sort.
He doesn't question him
Okay.
or anything like that. He just kind of acknowledges it and looks down. No look of grimace or anything. Just back to meditation.
Sounds good. The first couple hours go pretty quiet. It's just countryside. You guys take most of the day traveling. Sorry, Dermot's outside. My mistake. Ornell is looking at you. Dermot's outside.
Ormel's the dwarf,
Or,
right?
yeah, the dwarf. Yeah. Sorry. Good. I'm glad I caught that. So, yeah, Dermot's outside. So the weather's beautiful. You guys out here, you guys pass a few thickets here and there. It's quickly drifts into farmland, and you guys can see speckles of people all over the place in the flatlands of people working and farming. From here, to the coast, it's about three and a half weeks. So, for the first week of travel, you guys are on the main road west, the road to Resilient, as people have come to call it. And for the most part, you guys break every evening for camp. You set up camp, you start a fire. There's enough for you to do the work that has to be done. And it goes on like that, pretty steady. You guys hang on to the campfire for a few hours, and then you rest, and the morning comes. I would say for 2 or 3 days out of the trip, it rained. Rained a little bit. One day it was a pretty decent downpour, but the ground is fertile and it soaked it up fairly well. It wasn't a major storm, but you guys get to the city limits, or the outskirts of the town or the city of Resilient, the capital city of Delron, and you can see it looming in the distance before you got too close. It sits up on a ridge. You can see the ridge is more so level with you when you're watching it as you're walking to it, and it kind of drifts down to a valley to the left and the north, and the ridge kind of just stays up and over that particular valley. It looks, the city kind of looks perched on the ridge itself, looking out at the wilds of Delron. Yeah. So that way, there's kind of a ridge here.
Oh,
It
okay.
looks out at the, that's kind of where the city is kind of oriented along the ridge. And then there's this massive castle, kind of like, which one am I taking it for?
Right behind you.
Nope. Where is it? It doesn't seem to be there.
Is it Corfell Lane?
No, I had another picture that's not there for some reason. No, it's just the four stone pillars in each corner, and then they're kind of linked in the middle with very just simplistic. As you guys are walking up upon the city, or traveling up upon the city, you can see the two large castle portions go up, tower into the sky over the wall that is only along the outside of the ridge. The ridge is not walled because it's a ridge; it's its own wall. And you can see it; it's up, towering above the town itself. The town kind of drifts down from the ridge, just ever so slightly, but it's built up on as much on the ridge as it can be. And you see that as the sun begins to set on the Valley of Resilience. You guys are still about 6 or 7 hours travel before you can reach the city limits, but that's where you guys are spending the night for the evening. You guys break camp on the mouth of this valley, and you guys can see as the sun goes down, it casts light up and down, up and through the valley. It's very beautiful.
Would Erlon have been to Resilience before to make a delivery?
I would imagine you've been there, even just to go there. It's the capital of Delron. You've been there for 10 years. Maybe, maybe not, but it's up to you.
Once, twice.
Okay.
Just to make a delivery or something like that. Not enough to be overly familiar with the...
Touristy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bordering on touristy.
Okay.
You took a detour going home.
Yeah.
It's up in the capital.
It's
for a day.
yeah, it's a metropolis. It's a very large city. It's built up along the ridge. You have the castle, and the castle is separated from the city by a separate high wall in between. And then outside the castle wall, you have stone buildings that kind of go from 3 stories and then dissipate downwards as the further you go out. And then after that, you would know that it's more so wooden buildings, and then that's where you get into the farming workforce. And the farming area just kind of spans. You're already walking through the farms that are owned and controlled by the city of Resilience itself, and that's pretty much the orientation of that city.
Gotcha.
From your brief experiences going in.
If he can make any sort of room, even if he has to sit between the rows of seats, he'll try to, while he's traveling through the few weeks that he traveled, to make any progress on the hurdy-gurdy.
Of course.
Yep. Would you say he would have just barely enough room, being a pretty slim elf? At least for himself, the hurdy-gurdy would probably be about...
Oh, I would say working on it during the day in the wagon. No?
Frowned upon.
Yeah, well, it would, if you wanted to, disadvantage for sure, because of the cramped space and the jostling of the wagon. After hours, your time at camp is your time, you know?
Yeah, he'd only do that after hours.
Okay.
He didn't want to wreck the instrument.
Sounds good. So I'll get you to roll from there to there. Yeah, roll another investigation check. Keep going with that.
9.
9? Alright, you're looking at the pieces the past few times, and you've been coming in pretty late, so it's dark by the time you're able to break everything out and get after camp is set up. It's been pretty difficult to get decent light to see them, and you're just not making any headway. You're getting more frustrated than anything. And you know the last time you got frustrated, you almost broke your hand. So it gets to that point sometimes, and you're just trying to calm down, perhaps.
Yeah.
But
Makes sense.
not make very much headway in this particular week to Resilient. So, that particular night, you guys have been traveling for about a week and a half, I think I said. Let's see. For that one, week and a half. A week and a half. Yeah, about a week and a half to getting on the outskirts of Resilient. Dermot comes around to the camp and says, supplies are good, yeah? We're going to go through the valley. We're not going to make a stop. We're going to save the time. Get to the coast. Quick as you can. Yeah.
Should suffice.
Nobody else really says anything to him. They just kind of look at him like, yes, boss, kind of deal. He kind of then turns around awkwardly and walks away.
He's the experienced one. He says supplies are good and we don't need to stop. We don't need to stop.
Mm-hmm. So you guys catch your sleep for the evening, and in the morning, you guys can hear the triangle as it's set to wake everybody on sunrise, or someone's ringing it as they wake up at sunrise. You're up before everybody. Dermot's going to put that to you. He's going to make sure you're the one ringing that triangle when the sun comes up.
All right.
So you now add to your items, musical instrument, triangle.
All right. He would have tried to just make a little jingle, I guess, to kind of inspire the troops or whatnot.
Performance. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's 17.
17. Okay, no,
Ding,
that's
ding,
good.
ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. But exactly what you anticipated the call. It's loud, it reverberates, and it's nice.
Wakes everybody up.
It wakes everybody up. You guys are woken to the clanging of a triangle. Much better than the last person who was playing the triangle. You would note, Tanith.
Well, that's a nice improvement.
And he would stop the triangle, and once he realizes everybody's been woken, and he would just stuff the triangle away into a pocket or a pouch, and start, if there was a fire going, making a pot of tea.
Okay, sounds good. So you lend your services to making some tea also. That's great. The rest, some minor rations and food is being broken out and passed around. And other things are being packed up and placed back into the wagon itself. Horses are being taken care of and placed back onto the wagons, the straps being connected to them. You guys are treated to a pretty slim breakfast, but it's enough calories, enough to get you by, you think, until the next time. So you guys break camp and then make way through the valley. There's also a road that does go down through the valley. It doesn't look as well maintained as this road, but there is a road. Okay, so you guys travel down the valley for about half the day. The sun is up high in the sky. It's pretty warm. It feels like it's 26, 27 degrees right now. You're kind of sweating underneath any clothes you got. The bugs are thick around here. There's a heavy stream that you've met up with beside the road that comes down through the valley, and you're making your way down. Ornell says up at the front, he moves the curtain aside, and he says, with all the rain, I hope the bridge isn't washed out.
Well, good thing we brought plenty of help.
Like you said, like Dermot said. Oh, you said it. Like you said, 25 would have been better. And
is this road through like open country, or
Yeah.
is it like, or is there trees on the other side?
there's copses of trees here and there. You can see some off in the distance as the land rolls on, but for the most part, it's open field.
Oh, okay.
In the valley here, again, there's more farmland. You see a farm every so often. And you guys are down by the river as the road kind of matches up alongside it and goes down. Yeah. As you guys begin to approach what looks like in the distance a bridge of some sort, I'll get you to roll perception, anybody who's outside.
Oh, goody.
23.
9.
22.
You're inside, I'll get you to roll with disadvantage.
Oh,
Yeah.
22.
22, okay. 19? 19, you said?
9.
9? Okay.
I'm looking that way at the moment.
Yeah, you're just on the wagon, kind of just bobbing along. It's been here already, traveling. You've been traveling for 2.5 weeks already.
I'm looking the other way anyway.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. A week and a half, sorry, my apologies. Ravam, you would see that on the other side of the bridge, hasn't been washed away, but the water has come up over the bank and is washing up and around the front or the end of the bridge, and it looks like it's about 5 or 6 feet of water. That side of the river has increased.
Would you say it's 5 or 6 feet deep, or
Lengthwise, yeah,
Okay.
over from the edge of the bridge.
I would pass that on. That it looks like the bridge is still intact, but the beach on the other side doesn't look the best. Maybe we should find somewhere else to cross.
Dermot kind of leans up in his saddle and looks over and says, "Shit! There's no other place. That's the bridge." He looks at Ornell and he says, "Get the ropes. Get the men. We're gonna need them." Ornell kind of looks at everybody and says, "You heard the men.
Yeah, let's go. Come on, get up. We got work to do.
Erlon breaks out of his meditation and gets up with a spry jump, refreshed, and he walks out to do whatever they need him to do.
Alright, Ornell opens up a crate and it's full of rope and hooks and latches and different things to attach to the wagon itself. And he's looking at the wood and he's talking to you, Tanith, and he says, "At least we don't have a full load. That'll help."
Yeah, that's the one positive of this whole trip.
Dermot scoffs in their direction. Ravam you see from 10 feet away as they talk about not having a full load. And you guys begin to go up onto the bridge. Now the bridge is about 20 feet long. It goes up and arches over, and when it arches back down, then you're going to have the 6 feet of water as the
Stone
is
bridge,
coming.
or
The bridge, yeah, it's stone.
Okay.
It's stone bridge, for sure. Something that can't be burned. Okay, and you guys begin to make your way over. Ornell is the wagoneer.
are there any trees nearby on the other side?
There are, but they're going to be between 80 and 100 feet away.
Okay.
You might be pressing your luck for the amount of rope that they have.
Yeah, and that's just it. Rope is generally in 50-foot lengths, but just because we have 2 lengths,
Yeah, you guys have 2 lengths each also. Yeah, that's true.
yeah, there's it. At 100 feet, they may not be able to do anything, but at 80, we might be able to work something.
Okay, throw your ideas out. What are you guys going to do?
Well, assuming that things get stuck, we had block and tackle. If we had 2, we could attach one to the wagon, one there, and sort of zigzag and use the tree as extra leverage to pull the wagon if it gets stuck.
Do we have a block and tackle?
I don't know. I don't know everything you guys have in the inventory.
I don't either. That's why I'm asking.
Do you have anything on your person? Anybody that can do that? I'm going to roll a percentile for that.
Just my 2 ropes.
I mean, I have an explorer's pack. That's just it.
You would be aware that that's not something that is currently.
Nah, we don't have those.
Well, you guys would be moving. You guys have manpower to move the
Yeah.
logs. Well, you guys weren't relying on that, so that's not something that you actually have access to right now. So, where are you, Tanith?
Still on the front of the wagon.
Okay, you're hanging out there. You said you're outside in the wagon. They attach
Well, I was on the front of the wagon before we stopped.
Okay, so you guys did stop before you got on the bridge, and a bunch of guys got off. They tied ropes off, and as the wagon's going over, they're wading through the water, and it seems to go down about 4 or 5 feet, and then it arches back up again pretty quickly.
Juicy.
They seem to be managing getting through quite easily.
Ah, good.
So, as the horses begin to, I need Airline, you need to make a strength athletics check to get through the water.
3.
3, okay. Are you holding onto a rope?
I didn't specify that I was.
Yeah, I don't think you did.
Nope.
But I didn't, yeah, okay, so you begin to get pulled out, your feet begin to get pulled out from under you as you begin to get pulled down into the water. You move about 15 feet down past the bridge, and Raven, it's your turn.
I would probably have dismounted and walking my horse across, but
I would imagine so. Yeah, but you haven't entered the water yet. You see the water take him from the feet. He slips. He goes down, and he hits the water, and he gets sucked out around the bridge, out into the river.
Help!
I was waiting for.
Throw a rope at him, hold it on, having one end lashed to the cart.
Okay.
yeah, I wasn't sure if we had one that was available to.
Yeah, there are ropes lashed to the cart. There's several of the guys that have them. He just forgot to grab his. And went out there.
Then yeah, I'll grab it and
Sounds
try
good.
and throw it to him.
Roll an attack.
That's a net 15. So.
Okay, yeah, that's good enough. A rope lands right over your shoulder as you kind of splash. You grab it. Roll athletics.
Athletics, alright. 5.
5. Okay, so you're holding onto the rope, and as the river pulls you again against the rope, your hands slip on the rope. You move another 15 feet down, but there's still more rope. You're still on the rope.
Alright, roll athletics again.
No, you guys can. We'll go over here.
Can he kind of kick his feet to move
You
to the other
can't.
side? Yeah,
Yeah.
he'll.
Roll athletics. Move to swim to the side of the river.
10.
That's good. You're able to kick your feet and move to the side of the river, and you end up another 15 feet down, but you make it to shore, drenched, breathing. Dermot's looking over the bridge at you, like this. Turns back to the rest. What are y'all looking at? Get the wagon over. Wagon.
Can't believe we almost lost one to water.
So as the horses begin to go through, the first two. Ooh, I got a chip. Look at that.
Yeah, I noticed mine had a small chip in it.
Yeah,
Actually, I think there's 2 spots.
that happens. Chips aren't that bad. Whole cracks, though, they'll replace.
Yeah.
They'll replace the whole dice for you. It's so it's really good. It was really worth the money. That's probably the one time I dropped on the damn ground. Wow, right off track. Sorry.
Shiny math rocks could make a clack clack noise.
The two horses in front begin to get taken. The front hooves go in the water, and they get in up to almost their chest. The water begins to hit them underneath the chest, and it begins to move. They begin to tilt. You can see them kind of rearing up, fighting for ground, as the other two kind of push forward, and they seem they seem to stand sturdy, and they're pushing the other ones forward. The other two horses seem to get pulled away with the tide, but they're able to hit the 5 or 6 feet of land before they get through. Then as they are able to reach the land, you can see them as their hooves are going underwater, but they're hitting soft ground and digging in deep. The two that hit the land now are able to pull out, and the two behind them begin to get sucked down through the water. And now there's the other folk. You're back and you have a rope now, so we need you guys, anybody who's on that side, to roll a strength to add to the strength pool to move the wagon and the horses.
Yup, that's me as well.
Nat 20, which
go.
is a 19.
It's because you're so wet. You're just so heavy.
That's a solid 10 for me.
Okay, you're helping. You're helping.
Yeah. I'm not the strongest man in the world, but
Okay, so nat 20, 10.
I have a -1 modifier, so 19.
Okay, so as the whole team, there's you have 8 guys across the river pulling on these ropes. The 2 horses in the front begin to lose some ground, and the 2 horses in the back, you can see them to actually start to float up above the water as a bit of a thrust of water comes around and takes them. The wagon itself begins to start pulling to the right-hand side and gets slammed up against the embankment of the bridge. You can see Ornell as he pulls the horses back, pulls on the reins for them to hold. The wagon seems to slow its lurch towards the edge. Okay. Now we start with the horses again. Okay, and I'll get Tanith and Erlon, your strength. Anybody who's pulling ropes on that side. Are you pulling rope as well?
I never made it across because I still have my horse.
Yeah, that's right.
He had gone over, and then basically we jumped to the wagon going across. I never got a chance to.
Sorry, that's right.
So I'm just sort of standing there and hoping for the best.
Yeah, all the ropes have been taken up at this point, and it's,
Yeah.
that's a 10 again.
a 10 again?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I know why I stopped using these dice.
Okay.
14.
14.
Somehow.
Okay. No, that's fine. This time you guys are, you keep the momentum that the wagon was carrying, that the wagon was pulling down into the right-hand side, and you guys, everybody seems to link up together and pull after last tries horrible rolls. Everybody rolled like a 7 and under, all your assistants. Much better this time. You guys are able to pull with momentum and keep the wagon going. You see the arse end of the wagon kind of pull into the water a little bit, but you guys pull it up, out, and over the patch of water that has gone around the bridge. Dermot, you can see him kind of look at the wagon and look at you guys and just kind of shake his head as he tries to get across. And his horse begins to kind of move away, kind of get taken. His horse isn't as big as beefy as the other ones. His horse begins to move away as it kind of takes him, and he failed his ride check, so he is actually falling off into the water.
Erlon's gonna try to throw his rope at him.
There's like 7 ropes coming at his direction right now, but yes, absolutely.
Nope.
No?
No. 5
Okay.
on the dice.
Alright,
So-
there you go. So one misses. Next.
Unless it's dexterity, then it's 9.
Strength or attack roll?
Or this will be a dexterity for your attack roll.
Dex. Oh, that's an 11.
11? Okay. It's not that hard to catch him. He the horse does lose its way and falls into the water as he falls off beside it. The rope lands on him. He grabs it and he gets to shore. The The horse does make it eventually, about 30 feet down. Well, it does get back to shore itself.
Horses can swim. It'll be fine.
Now everybody's looking at Ravi.
You're up.
So it's about 5 or 6 feet across.
Yeah.
What does the shore on the opposite side look like? Does it look sort of sturdy? Is it soggy or?
You've seen that it's a bit soggy where it's in contact with the water like mud, but it's seems to be a pretty decent shore of soil and grassy growth.
I was just thinking, could I get the horse to jump?
That's right. I'll get you roll perception. See knowledge, nature actually.
17.
17. Yeah, you're looking at it. It looks like a pretty hardy shore. It seems to be in a way where the water was moving, but it seems you can see roots sticking out from underneath it, big heavy ones.
Okay.
You're sure it can hold.
5 foot gap to get a bit of a runoff. Should be able to make it.
Yep.
I'll give it a try.
Okay, roll that athletics for your horsey. Probably a +2 or something, maybe +3. What'd you roll?
Nat 11.
Okay, it's only like 6 feet.
Yeah.
You've done better tricks on this, running into Greek friends
Yeah.
at a Vistani festival. So you make do you make a flourish of it?
No, just
Utility.
yeah.
You get the speed. You gallop towards it. You can hear the hooves of the horse clanking off the stone, and you leap, and it's just you're in the air for just a moment. You can feel the weightlessness, and you land on the other side. Thump! The ground doesn't give way, and you kind of come to a stop and do a little spin around.
Yeah.
Lose the momentum, and
Yeah. Once we're safe on the shore, come to a stop and pat the horse.
the horse kind of looks at you. It's a horse.
Yeah.
Roll around.
Oh. You did a good job. And
Nice job. Nice job, Wilson.
Okay, and you guys continue on. You see the river does get a little deeper and a little thicker, wider as you guys continue on down through the valley. The road begins to divert to the north somewhat. Yeah. And by the end of the day, you guys pull up and out of the valley as the river diverts away, and you guys continue on the road towards the coast. Okay, and then at the end of the day, almost at the other side of the ridge, considering you guys didn't get hung up too long on the bridge, you can now see the other side of Resilient, the other side of the castle, which is exactly the same. The two large cylinders of stone that go up on each of the four corners and the walls that link them in between. And now that it's starting to get dark, a little more dark than last time you seen the city, you can see all the torch lights amongst the walls and along the city, and so it's quite a beautiful sight. As the light begins to fade, the moon comes out, and it's a bit cloudy, keeping the moon from time to time. You guys can see large patches of clouds drift over the land down in the valley, and you guys make camp.
yep.
So about the night goes without any worry. There's a chime of a bell waking you guys up in the morning.
Didn't make any progress on the hurdy-gurdy. I'm assuming it's
Okay.
DC 10. He got a 9.
9? Okay. A little bit more than that, but 9 still a fail. The ringing of the triangle goes off, and you guys start the next day. The next week and a half, 2 weeks go by. You guys encounter a decent amount of rain and bad weather. It slows you down by about another half week, so it takes about 2 weeks to get to the coast. But eventually you do make sight of the coast, the west coast there. The first looming sight you see is the city of Prominence. It's a city built amongst ridges along the coastline. There's 2 or 3 specific ridges where there's 2 or 3 parts of the city that exist. But you guys turn to another road. You guys are headed down to Promina, also known as Lower Prominence, but commonly known as Promina. There, you were bound for a ship. That's all you guys were told. And likely by the end of the following day, you will make it to Promina. So yeah, so you got to the coast. I'll get you to roll for that week and a half of travel.
I did that already. I rolled 4 just because I was going by night, but I rolled a 20 up front.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so you would have been able to identify 2 more pieces of that. And now that you're getting this far, you can see that some of the pieces that you're linking up together, you have some replacements for them and some not. So some you're going to have to repair, and some you may not have to.
Great.
Okay.
Yay, mending. Maybe you can make it work this time.
Yeah, hopefully. Not break.
It's not called breaking, it's called mending.
When I first played it.
Okay, yeah, so that's where we're going to end for the night. You guys are going to break camp at the crossroads between Prominence and Lower Prominence. The sun goes down over the east coast. You guys get to see the first ridge of Lower Promina. It's just a small string of buildings across the edge of just where you can see, and you can see torches and lights within the windows themselves, and the sea, open sea beyond that.
Oh, great. Do that again.
A slight breeze of salt wafts across you guys' nose. That's where we'll end it. And that's episode 1. Very nice.
Thank you for sticking with us for this long. You must have liked something that you've seen. If that's the case, check us out on Instagram at Death Needs Dialogue, and YouTube and Facebook at Death Needs Dialogue Entertainment Network. And if you've really enjoyed what you've seen, perhaps check us out on our Patreon page, www.patreon.com/deathneedsdialogue. Here, you can help us out as well as get involved in the storyline by voting on certain twists that our player characters will encounter, as well as creating your own NPC that the player characters will be interacting with on a regular basis. And thanks again for stopping by. We hope you have a good evening.